Chapter 761. Mu Qiqi carefully searched and observed the deceased's room. Old Qing and the others asked the deceased's friends and colleagues. The unanimous conclusion was that Bai Sini was a cheerful girl and had a reasonable plan for her life. Everyone was surprised that she committed suicide this time. Old Qing really couldn't get anything out of her, so he could only return to the crime scene. Qiqi, did you find anything? I didn't find any information related to the man on the business card. Mu Qiqi stood up and said, I wanted to ask senior brother Qing, what was the relationship between the deceased and her mother? According to her friend's description, the deceased's parents divorced in the early years. After that, the deceased lived with her mother. After graduating from university, she went to work at Chongrong Electronics. It's been almost 3 years. Isn't her mother sick? She also bought a return ticket, and according to the call records, she and her mother have been in contact frequently recently. Mu Qiqi nodded. I just think that her relationship with her mother isn't very good. Why do you think so? Haven't you noticed since you came in? The room is filled with photos of her and her father, but there's not a single photo of her and her mother, Mu Qiqi explained. Do you think that's normal? Old Qing observed carefully, and it was indeed the case. I think we can focus on investigating the deceased's mother. The murderer might also be using her mother to release a signal to the deceased. Where's Captain Tang? Something happened. He went home, Old Qing answered. The people at the branch office didn't know that Feng Xianxian was pregnant, so they didn't know that Tang Yan had gone back to accompany her for a prenatal checkup. Alright, that's all for today. You guys immediately get news about her parents and wait for Captain Tang to decide whether to investigate her parents. Old Qing nodded and sighed. It's a pity that such a young and beautiful girl has passed away. Xiaolong and I will go back to the branch office. What about you? You don't have to worry about me. I've already informed the family, Mu Qiqi replied. Then we won't bother about you. After the investigation, the group left Chongrong Electronics. However, because Xing Xiao was still on the way, Mu Qiqi stood at the entrance of Chongrong and waited. Not long after, Gu Ziling's car drove out of Chongrong. When she saw Mu Qiqi, she rolled down the window and asked, Forensic Dr. Mu, did you find anything? Mu Qiqi pretended not to hear anything. She did not want to talk to Gu Ziling. Gu Ziling was provoked. She opened the door and got out of the car. She walked up to Mu Qiqi. Why do you always show your arrogant side in front of me? What's so great about you? Gu Ziling, you'll never understand how precious a human life is. That's why I feel that we don't get along. I know what you're thinking, but please put away your desire to win. I don't have time to waste on you. I can't reveal the case to you. I'm working as a forensic doctor today, so I don't want to trouble you. But there's one thing I have to advise you. It's better not to step into some quagmires. What you've done in the past was just a clown's trick, but now it involves human lives. Today someone else died, but tomorrow it might be you. I'm not interested in knowing why Xing Kai took over Chongrong, but I can tell you for sure that the person behind Xing Kai might not have anything to do with these murders. When the time comes, if something happens to the other party, the first one to suffer will be a pawn. After Mu Qiqi finished speaking, Xing Zhao's car stopped across the road. Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Xianxian and brushed past her. She got into her family's car and the two of them sped away. Gu Ziling was still stunned because she had to admit that what Mu Qiqi said was what she was worried about. The godfather behind Xing Kai said that he wanted to support his godson. She thought that he was going to give him a good job, but what happened in the end? Take over Chongrong. Murder cases came one after another. She even had a feeling that Xing Kai, that idiot, was a scapegoat being raised by someone. After getting into the car, Mu Qiqi took off her work pass and threw it aside. Xing Xiao saw it and asked her, What did you say to Gu Ziling just now? I'm really annoyed to see this woman now. There's a high chance that she'll come looking for trouble. She used to be quite smart, but now it seems like her brain is mostly tofu dregs. She's looking for trouble with you. Mu Qiqi snorted and pointed at her nose. Master Xiao, are you kidding me? Is your wife the type to be bullied so easily? However, I still kindly reminded her that Xing Kai might have fallen into a thief's lair. Huh. Xing Xiao did not understand what she was doing. Mu Qiqi sighed and explained helplessly, This couple is far from being as loving as they seem on the surface. When they get back, they'll definitely fight. Xing Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's ear and shook it left and right. Do you really think you're a matchmaker? You can even tell if someone else's relationship is good or not. It's a feeling. You men won't understand. Besides, that couple is so selfish. It would be strange if they could have a good relationship. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes in disdain. In that case, if we find the murderer of this series of cases, it's possible to find out who the person behind Xianxia is. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi looked at Xiao in admiration. Look, it was so easy to talk to smart people. As a result, Mu Qiqi revealed a look of disdain again. She had been playing the lute to a cow when she talked to Gu Xiling just now. On the other hand, Tang Yan had taken 2 hours off to keep his promise and bring Feng Xianxian to the hospital for a checkup. Feng Xianxian knew that he was busy, so she did not complain. When they arrived at the hospital, she cooperated with everything and used the fastest speed to let Tang Yan, her new father, see the small dot in her womb. At present, the pregnant woman's health is improving, but she still needs to rest in bed as much as possible. It's best for you, husband, to accompany your wife more. This will help her recover. Thank you, doctor. We understand. Feng Xianxian saw that Tang Yan was silent and quickly answered the doctor. Because she knew that it was impossible for Tang Yan to accompany her. Tang Yan knew very well in his heart. There's nothing else. You can go home now. Feng Xianxian thanked him and held Tang Yan's hand as they left the hospital. Seeing that he did not say a word, she smiled. Why are you so nervous? The child is growing in my stomach. What are you afraid of? Tang Yan turned around slightly and faced Feng Xianxian. Why don't I quit and find another job? I'll try my best to accompany you. Feng Xianxian was shocked when she heard this. Even someone who had always regarded cases as his life would say such a thing. Chapter 762. But I don't want me to owe you more and more. Tang Yan held Feng Xianxian's hand and said, after I'm done with this case, I'll talk to the chief. I know martial arts. When the time comes, setting up a training school is also a good way out. Feng Xianxian saw that he seemed to be serious and wanted to stop him, but when the words came to her mouth, she felt that there was no need. Because he would eventually understand that he was born to be a criminal police officer. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. After the two of them got into the car, Feng Xianxian said calmly, I'm not doing this for you to make you feel that you owe me. I'm doing everything willingly. I'm giving birth to a child for the man I love. This is also my child. You can lose your studies and get pregnant before marriage for me. I can also give up everything for you. But I don't need you to give up for me, Feng Xianxian answered him seriously. If you don't handle the case, you won't be the same Tang Yan. I don't want you to regret it. Let's talk about this in the future. It's not the last resort. Tang Yan didn't say anything else and just drove away. In the past he drove very fast, but now he would have some misgivings. After all, he was about to be a father. What should I do when you're pregnant? Or what should I prepare? It's also my first time being a mother. I've also read experiences and books on the internet, so I don't know what you need to prepare, Feng Xianxian said truthfully. But I've bought a few books. You can read them when you have time. Tang Yan nodded as he drove at a steady speed. I need to go back to the station first. Wait for me in the car. I'll be out in 10 minutes. No need. I haven't gone in for a long time. You talked to the chief. I'll go see my senior brothers. This was good too. At least he was relieved. When they arrived at the entrance of the branch office, Tang Yan helped Feng Xianxian out of the car. The two of them entered the station together and then Tang Yan went to the chief's office. This time he was not there for the case but for personal matters. He wanted to get married. After the chief heard this, he naturally could not object. Tang Yan, since you already have a child, I naturally won't stop you. However, Qing Bin and the others, you have to be more careful. Especially now that you have a family, you have to be more careful. I know, Tang Yan replied respectfully. Since that's the case, you can go and settle the procedures tomorrow morning. Although the investigation is very important, I also have to care about my subordinate's life. Congratulations. Thank you, Director. Downstairs, old Qing and the others were very happy to see Feng Xianxian. Really, is Captain Tang usually so strict? I told you not to come to the branch office and you didn't come. It's such a waste of your senior brothers to treat you so well. Senior brother Long looked at Feng Xianxian and complained. I have a special reason. It's not convenient for me to come over. I'll visit you often in the future. Feng Xianxian quickly comforted them. When the professor heard that Xianxia had come, he put down the scalpel and walked out of the autopsy room. You're not feeling well. Why don't you rest at home? Uncle, I'm much better now, Xianxia replied with a smile. You have to be more careful, okay? The people around them listened and felt that something was wrong. However, only old Qing dared to ask directly. Is Xianxia pregnant with our captain's child? You didn't see it. Captain Tang helped Xianxia in just now. Not only that, but he even asked for leave for such an important case. Don't you think it's strange? Did this person have to guess so accurately? Xianxia opened her mouth and was about to speak, but Tang Yen walked out of the director's office. There's no need to investigate the case anymore. You guys are so free. Captain Tang, did I guess right? Old Qing leaned forward fearlessly. Tang Yen didn't say anything. He just put his arm around Xianxia's waist and said, "Let's go." Captain Tang didn't deny it, so it's tacit agreement. Since you dare to ask, then prepare the red packet early. I'll come over for a meeting at 8 o'clock in the evening. Tang Yen said coldly and then turned around with Xianxia. The few of them were stunned for a moment before they reacted. As expected, Captain Tang is going to be a father. That's great. How fortunate. The police station was filled with wails. Of course, they were the envious voices of the single dogs. When would the police station have a beautiful sister again? There were no benefits at all. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Kai entered the house. When Gu Xiling saw him, she went up to him and asked, "Call Godfather and ask him what he wants you to do. No matter how I look at it, he doesn't seem like he wants to help you. Instead, he wants to use you as a tool." Sheng Kai pushed Gu Xiling away and looked very impatient. "You don't know anything at all." "I don't know, but I know how to seek benefits and avoid harm. I don't want to be dragged down by you." Gu Xiling lay on the sofa and said, "Be TV." Sheng Kai pointed at Gu Xiling and scolded, "Gu Xiling, you're already married to me. Stop dreaming. How can you find another man to be happy in this life? If you don't want to call, I'll call Godfather." After saying that, Gu Xiling was about to go forward and snatch Sheng Kai's phone, but Sheng Kai slapped her to the ground. Unreasonable. Gu Xiling was stunned and could only sit on the ground weakly. "So you're incompetent? Because you only know how to go home and hit women." Sheng Kai was almost angered, but when he saw the blood at the corner of Gu Xiling's mouth, he did not continue. He just grabbed his clothes, slammed the door and left. Perhaps Gu Xiling felt that her life was too good. The two of them quarreled and Sheng Kai rushed out of the door. That was exactly what Mu Qiqi had predicted, without a single mistake. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Tang Yen returned to the police station for a meeting to summarize and sort out the latest clues. Old Qing raised Mu Qiqi's question. It would be best to summon the mother of the deceased by Cine for questioning. However, because she was now bedridden, he could only ask the police to make another trip. Tang Yen felt that since Mu Qiqi was the one who had discovered this clue, it was most appropriate for her to go. 1 day and 1 night should be enough. He just didn't know if Xianxia would let her go. Mu Qiqi was definitely willing to go. The key was, where was her man? How about this? The deceased's father is in this city. Summon him for questioning first before deciding whether to go to J City. Tang Yen decided. Time is of the essence. Old Qing, bring some people to fetch father by immediately. We'll try to get the results tonight. All right, Captain Tang, leave these matters to us. You're injured and you have to take care of Xianxia. You should go back and rest, Senior Brother Long said to Tang Yen. I have my own arrangements. You guys take care of yourselves, Tang Yen replied calmly. Of course he had to go home. Tomorrow was the day he and Xianxia registered. He had not proposed yet. Chapter 763. However, when it came to proposing, Tang Yen had no experience and there was no one around him to ask. Therefore he could only call Xianxia for help. Xianxia frowned. He was puzzled. He and Tang Yen shouldn't be so familiar with each other, right? However, since the other party was in trouble as someone who had been engaged and married before, he naturally had to give good advice. When Mu Qiqi heard that Tang Yen was going to propose, she immediately became excited. She moved closer to Xianxia and insisted on eavesdropping on their conversation. Xianxia pushed her away and went to the study with his phone. A few minutes later, Xianxia returned to the bedroom and saw Mu Qiqi's unhappy face. What can't you tell me? Why are you still hiding it? Xianxia pressed her head with a faint smile. Your mouth is as fast as lightning. If I tell you now, will others be surprised? When have I ever revealed other people's secrets? Muqiqi asked angrily. Besides, I'm really a little envious. Feng Xianxian is pregnant and now she's going to be proposed to. Thinking about it carefully, why do I feel that I've never experienced this before? Amnesia. Xianxia looked at her and pinched her chin. His tone was a little fierce. Looks like I really should throw you into the hospital and let the doctor cut open your head to see if there's a pig's brain or tofu inside. So fierce. Muqiqi rolled her eyes at him and struggled out of his hand. We're an old couple. We're really tired of each other. Xianxia grabbed her shoulder and dragged her onto the big bed. Looks like you're sick. What disease? Muqiqi quickly covered her shoulders. You won't be happy if you don't provoke me. Late at night, Tang Yan returned home. He carefully covered his bulging trouser pockets and quietly entered the room. Feng Xianxian was lying on the bed, sleeping soundly. Taking the opportunity, Tang Yan immediately went to decorate the living room and called Professor Tang and his wife, hoping that the elders could witness it with their own eyes. Although it was already very late, Professor Tang and his wife were still very curious. When had they ever seen their cold nephew do such a thing? Therefore, the old couple moved very quickly. In the living room, Tang Yan arranged some candles and colorful lights. These were all found on the internet. Only the rings and the elders were learned from Xianxia. Then he put on his police uniform. It was rare for him to be so proper in front of others. Then he welcomed Professor Tang and his wife. Where's Xianxian? Professor Tang asked after entering the room. I'll have to trouble you two to take a seat in the kitchen. I've set an alarm for her and the lights will be on in the room. She'll see it when she wakes up. Sure. Professor Tang was very straightforward. He took his wife and hid in the kitchen to watch the show. He had thought that his nephew would be cold for the rest of his life, but Feng Xianxian appeared and immediately showed her charm. She made his nephew, who did not understand feelings, obedient. Look, he even knew how to be romantic now. About 5 minutes later, the alarm clock beside Feng Xianxian rang. She was woken up. Seeing the colorful light in the bedroom, she immediately got up. The living room was lit with candles, white roses, and twinkling lights. The whole place looked dreamy and fairy tale. Then Tang Yan came out of the bathroom with firm steps. This was the first time Feng Xianxian had seen him wear a police uniform. His natural heroic spirit and strong figure made people almost forget what it was like to wear this police uniform. Then Tang Yan walked in front of Feng Xianxian and held her hands seriously. I didn't want to wake you up, but I want to change our relationship. I'm a cold person and I'm proud. I'm often not at home. When I'm on a mission, I'll forget the whole world. But after meeting you, I want to change everything. Xianxian, because of you, I want to have a home. After saying this, Tang Yan suddenly knelt on one knee and took out a brocade box from his pants pocket. There was a simple diamond ring inside, but because it was simple, it made Feng Xianxian feel at ease. Marry me. From now on, let me protect you and our child, okay? He specially wore a police uniform because he was swearing with it. From now on, she would be his everything. Feng Xianxian knew his intentions, so her eyes involuntarily turned red. Even if you don't propose, I'll only recognize you as a man. Feng Xianxian covered her face and said, to me, nothing is important. You and the child are my life. After saying that, Feng Xianxian pulled Tang Yan up, and Tang Yan took the opportunity to put the ring on Feng Xianxian's hand. Then the two of them stared at each other and hugged each other affectionately. At this time, Professor Tang and Feng Xianxian came out of the kitchen. The old couple finally saw their child's happiness with their own eyes, and they could finally put down the big stone in their hearts. Uncle, aunt. I asked them to come because they're our only family. I hope to get their approval and blessings, Tang Yan explained to Feng Xianxian. Professor Tang's eyes turned red. He pointed at Tang Yan and said, if you don't treat Xianxian well in the future, I won't let you off. But Xianxian, don't worry. This kid is wearing a police uniform to propose to you, which means that he values you more than his own life. This is the highest promise a man can make. Feng Xianxian leaned into Tang Yan's arms. She was extremely touched and happy. She felt that all of this was a dream. If she hadn't met Muqiqi, if she hadn't been influenced by Muqiqi, she would never have a happy family, a husband and children in her life. At this moment, her heart was filled with gratitude. This was not a luxurious proposal of the century, but it was warm enough for her. Because her man existed to punish evil. As the wife of a police officer, she did not care about the vanity in front of her. Tomorrow morning we'll register for marriage. I want you to be Mrs. Tang. Xianxia nodded and cried tears of joy. She lay in Tang Yan's arms and cried softly. Finally, she was going to get married. On the other side, a colleague from the Jianchuan branch was interrogating Father Bai at night. After Father Bai and Mother Bai divorced, he went abroad to do business. He had just returned 3 years ago and could not contact his daughter. He did not expect that the last news he received from his daughter would be her death. Chapter 764. When was the last time you saw your daughter? Last Christmas, Papa Bai answered. Then you don't know anything about your daughter? Papa Bai's eyes were red as he shook his head. I'm a derelict, father. I really want to strangle myself to death. Why didn't I bring my daughter to my side? After old Qing interrogated Papa Bai, he found nothing. It seemed that he had no choice but to go to Mama Bai. The next day, Mu Qiqi went to the branch office to learn about the progress. When she heard about the results of Papa Bai's interrogation, she was very disappointed. Although she was already mentally prepared, Papa Bai had nothing to do with this matter. Qiqi, Captain still hopes that you can make the trip, but he seems to have some concerns, old Qing said to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. Of course. Wouldn't she have concerns if she was asked to go out of the city to investigate a case? That big Buddha at home would be the first to disagree. But, Senior Brother Qing, if you can guarantee that you can send me home before 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I can go with you. I don't have any problems here. Let's wait for Captain Tang to come before making arrangements. Old Qing didn't dare to agree casually. After all, Mu Qiqi wasn't an ordinary person. If anything happened, her family would definitely skin his entire family alive. He couldn't afford to bear this responsibility. Tang Yan brought Xianxia to the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9 o'clock in the morning to register for the marriage certificate and then sent her to Professor Tang's house. At 10 o'clock in the morning, he returned to the branch office with the marriage certificate that he hadn't put down yet. At that moment, everyone was in a terrible state. Captain Tang, the trip to J City is unavoidable. What do you think we should do? Old Qing went up to Tang Yan and told him. After all, if he couldn't produce any evidence, both the pressure from the chief and public opinion would be fierce. Tang Yan looked at Mu Qiqi and struggled in his heart. Then he walked up to Mu Qiqi and said to her, if I don't come back tonight, please take care of Xianxia, your newlyweds. Are you sure? Mu Qiqi grabbed the corner of Tang Yan's shirt and asked. How about this? Wait for me. I'll call Xiao first. Tang Yan nodded. Mu Qiqi took her phone and walked to the side. Mu Qiqi's heart was pounding. She knew that no matter how much trouble she caused in Jianchuan, Xianxia would always have a way to keep her safe. But that might not be the case in other cities. And what Xianxia hated the most was having her out of his sight. Even so, she dialed Xiao's number. Xiao, that, if you have something to say, say it. Xiao knew that it was not something good when he heard her hesitant tone. There's an important suspect in J City, but she's seriously ill and can't come, so the police can only go there. Mu Qiqi said, clearly feeling a little lacking in confidence. You want to go? Xiao said what was on her mind. Am I not here to ask for your opinion? If you think it's dangerous and won't let me go, then I'll. So you're not going? Xiao scoffed. You set off as usual. Wait for Su Che at the toll booth. He'll be there to pick you up. But if Su Che follows me, what will you do? I'll be at the company all day. I don't need him. After Xiao said that, he hung up the phone. Then he put down the contract and turned to tell his secretary, let Su Che in. No matter what, Mu Qiqi easily obtained Xiao's agreement. This made Mu Qiqi feel uncomfortable. However, she did not know that Xiao wanted to use this strategy to make Mu Qiqi feel guilty. This way, she would naturally be more concerned about her safety and not act rashly. Actually, in general, this thing was obedient. She rarely caused trouble for him. Therefore, no matter what, he did not want to be the cage that imprisoned her wings. A moment later, Mu Qiqi returned to everyone and said to Tang Yan, Su Che will follow me, so Captain Tang, you stay in Jianchuan. If there are any clues in J City, Senior Brother Qing and I will give you feedback in time. I believe in you. Tang Yan patted Mu Qiqi's shoulder. I'll wait for your news. Come back as soon as possible. Mu Qiqi nodded and got into Old Cheng's police car. There were 4 of them. Other than Old Cheng, there were 2 other rookies. Soon the 4 of them left the city. Su Che followed Xing Zhao's instructions and waited at the exit of Jianshuan. Mu Qiqi got into her car and the group quickly headed for Jie City. Actually, other than protecting Mu Qiqi, Su Che had another mission. If Mu Qiqi was not sure if she could go home before 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Su Che would immediately give Xing Zhao a signal. Since he could not guarantee that Mu Qiqi would stay by his side obediently at all times, he could only move himself and let Mu Qiqi stay in his line of sight. It was fine to say that he was exaggerating or being pretentious. He had to keep an eye on his own woman. Once an accident happened, it was 100%. After a 3-hour drive, Mu Qiqi and the others arrived at the entrance of the hospital where Mama Bai was staying. They expressed their intentions to the hospital and successfully obtained Mama Bai's medical record and check-in information. This lady has a bad temper. Be careful when you ask her questions, the nurse kindly reminded them before they entered the ward. Then Miss Nurse, who usually takes care of this lady? Mu Qiqi could not help but want to know more about Mama Bai's situation and see if there were any traces of the murderer. Not long after she was paralyzed, she hired a nurse. She looks fierce every day. She's too tough. Then, can you tell us how to contact that nurse? No problem. The nurse nodded and took out her phone from her pocket. I can only contact the nurse's company and know his name. You'll have to find out the rest yourself. Thank you, Miss Nurse. The nurse smiled and walked away. Mu Qiqi then said to senior brother Qing. In Bai Sini's suicide note, she said that it was because her family was broken and she had been living with a mask. It was very tiring. If this suicide note is forged, then the murderer must be very familiar with Bai Sini's family background. Let's go and meet this tough lady. After senior brother Qing said that, he knocked on the door of the ward. Who is it? Come in. A rough voice came from the room. Mu Qiqi and senior brother Qing entered and saw a middle-aged woman in her early 50s lying on the bed. She looked ugly and disheveled. Who are you? Old Qing immediately took out his identification and said to her, We are the police. I believe you already know about your daughter's suicide, right? Chapter 765. You don't seem to like your daughter very much. Mu Qiqi followed Mama Bai's emotions and asked, Can you tell me the specific reason? I raised her so much, but she wants to go back to her father. What do you think I should do with such an unfilial daughter? Mama Bai said hatefully. I've been paralyzed these days and I just wanted her to come and take a look. She actually said she didn't have time, so I told her to die. Then do you know that she has already bought a train ticket? Mu Qiqi continued to ask Mama Bai. How would I know that much about her? If she's dead, then so be it. I'll just treat it as if I've raised an ingrate. From Mama Bai's words, Mu Qiqi could not tell that this woman had any feelings for her daughter. Mu Qiqi and Old Qing looked at each other and did not say anything. Mama Bai began to chase them away impatiently. Are you done asking? If you're done, hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my rest. My daughter has just died. Do you have any sympathy? Old Cheng and Mu Qiqi looked at each other and decided to leave the ward first. Old Cheng thought to himself that he might be able to get some useful clues from this woman. But in the end, it was another wasted trip. Qiqi, what do you think? I think there's a big problem with this woman. Moreover, she's full of lies, Mu Qiqi said as she leaned against the wall outside the ward. I don't know if senior brother Qing noticed the necklace on Mama Bai's neck. Mu Qiqi reminded senior brother Qing to recall. I think it's just an ordinary silver accessory. There's nothing special about it. Mu Qiqi shook her head and smiled at him. That's not a silver accessory. That's a Perkin necklace. Moreover, it's a product of Huang Yao. It's a minimalist series of Huang Yao. I've planned events for Huang Yao before. I've seen it before. Are you sure? What if it's an imitation? Old Qing held his chin in confusion and said, How would a Philistine woman like her know about Huang Yao's jewelry? All in all, I think we still need time to investigate this woman, so senior brother Qing might not be able to go back today. Mu Qiqi said to Old Qing. Su Che heard what she said and promptly sent a message to Xing Xiao. Then let's find a hotel nearby to stay. In the evening we'll visit Mother Bai's neighbors. A moment later, Muqiqi called Tang Yan to tell them about the progress of the investigation and mentioned the platinum necklace. Tang Yan immediately realized that there was a receipt in Bai Sini's drawer. It was worth 360,000 yuan. I'll send Xiaolong to Huang Yao to retrieve the surveillance footage from that day. Why did Bai Sini buy such an expensive necklace? Why did that necklace end up with Mother Bai? It was a few days before Bai Sini committed suicide. Mother Bai said that she hadn't seen Bai Sini for a long time, so how did the necklace get into her hands? With many questions, Muqiqi and Old Qing arrived at the place where Mama Bai lived and began to visit the neighbors. However, because Mother Bai was mean to her neighbors on weekdays, no one was willing to interact with her at all. Only the old man downstairs knows a little about her. This woman, when she was not sick, she often went out on Saturdays and came back on Sundays. I don't know what she was doing. I met her several times and every time she came back she smelled of alcohol. She's mean and has no relatives or friends. She only has a daughter. In the past she often beat and scolded her. By the way, when I came back once, I saw a luxury car sent to her and her daughter. Sir, how long ago was that? Muqiqi asked as she recorded. Not long ago, more than half a month ago, the old man recalled. It was a black car. From afar it looked very beautiful. From this, it could be seen that Mama Bai's mouth was full of lies. No, it should be said that she didn't say much and deliberately avoided it. Alright, it's getting late. Let's find a place to rest for the night and see what Captain Tang will do. Senior brother Qing looked at his watch and turned to look around. Why don't we stay nearby? I've already arranged accommodation for you just now, Su Che, who had not spoken for a long time, suddenly said. The two of them were stunned for a moment and nodded. That's good too. Then the three of them went to eat some J City's specialties. Because Muqiqi still wanted to go back to her room to sort out her doubts. After eating, the two of them went to the hotel under Su Che's lead. You rich people really know how to find a place. You can even find a 5-star hotel in a small place like J City. Chichi, I'm really basking in your glory. Senior brother Qing could not help but smile when he saw the door of the hotel. You're welcome. It was just that the two of them were arranged on different floors, which made senior brother Qing feel inconvenient. However, because Su Che said that there were no rooms, Old Qing did not dare to complain. Call me if there's anything. Muqiqi nodded. Soon Su Che sent Muqiqi to the door and swiped his card to open the door for her. Muqiqi was very sleepy after running for the whole day. However, after pushing the door open, she blinked and was stunned. Xiao. Xianxia was sitting in front of his desk and had just finished a video call. When he saw Muqiqi return to her room, he leaned against her and winked at her. Why are you here? Muqiqi woke up from her nap and jumped onto Xianxia excitedly. You didn't come home last night, so I could only warm your bed. Xianxia hugged her and fell into a deep sense of satisfaction. J City is a little colder than Jianchuan. It's remote and the security is chaotic. If I don't come, what if someone breaks into your room at night? You just said that you missed me. Why are you still finding so many excuses for yourself? Muqiqi glanced at him disdainfully. Are you going back tomorrow morning? Up to you. Xianxia replied coldly. Then I have to hurry up and figure out the situation here. Muqiqi got down from Xianxiao's body and began to take out a pen and paper to organize her thoughts. According to her previous deduction, Mama Bai had lied. The neighbor said that half a month ago he saw someone send Mama Bai and Bai Sini home. However, Tang Yan said that the necklace was bought 2 days before Bai Sini committed suicide. However, the necklace was now in Mama Bai's hands. In other words, the last time the mother and daughter met was within 10 days. The old man said that Mama Bai went out every weekend. Once she even brought her daughter along and even sent her off in a luxury car. In other words, Mama Bai brought her daughter to meet someone of high status. After sorting out the information, Muqiqi began to call Tang Yan. After Tang Yan heard the information that Muqiqi had sorted out, he felt that the most important thing now was to figure out who Mama Bai went to meet every week. Especially when she brought Bai Sini to meet someone. Chapter 766. I'll try my best. In fact, the few of them already had some guesses in their hearts, but they needed to be confirmed now. Is Xiao Xing by your side? Tang Yan paused for a few seconds and suddenly asked. How did you know? Muchichi was surprised. Did this person have clairvoyance? You used his phone to make the call. After saying that, Tang Yan hung up. At first he was worried about Muchichi's safety, but now that Xianxia was there to guard her, there was no problem at all. Although he did not approve of his subordinates being overprotected at all in the same situation, if Feng Shanshan were to go out, he might not be able to sit still. Muchichi put down her phone and took a closer look. He immediately understood. She was the one who had been immersed in the case and was stupid. Why didn't you remind me? What's the difference between yours and mine? Xianxia packed up the documents and drew the curtains of the hotel room. Wash up. Aren't you going to wake up early tomorrow? Captain Tang asked senior brother Qing and me to find out who Mama Bai went to see over the weekend. I need to sort out what I need to do tomorrow. Let me think about it, Muchichi said seriously as she sat on the sofa with a frown. First, get Mama Bai's call records and lock onto the people who talked to her over the weekend. Check them one by one, and then confirm her identity with the people in the communications department. Second, get the surveillance cameras around the Bai family and see if you can find anything. Muchichi thought that with the evidence she would confront Mama Bai. Then the answer would be revealed. Muchichi had a hunch that as long as the answer was revealed, the truth of Bai Sini's suicide would not be far away. Xianxia supported himself with his arm and looked at Muchichi. Just as Tang Yan had said, this little one was becoming more and more like a criminal police officer. When she was busy, she looked serious and cautious, which made her even more charming. Muchichi put away the note and looked up at Xianxia. When she realized that he was staring at her, she blushed. Is there something on my face? Xianxia stretched out his long arm and pulled her up, letting her sit between his legs. In the future, should I call you Forensic Dr. Mu or Officer Mu? What do you like me to do? Muchichi leaned into Xianxiao's arms and asked, do you like me to hold a gun or a knife? When Xianxia heard that, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. There was a hint of devilish charm in his eyes. Of course I like you holding a gun. The last two words had a deeper meaning. Muchichi understood it immediately and punched him in the chest. You're really, since everything is done, let's take a bath and rest. Xianxia knew that she was very tired today, so he did not hug her affectionately like he did at home. He only took her to take a shower and lay on the bed. Lying in his warm embrace, Muchichi fell asleep. However, Xianxia could not fall asleep no matter how hard he tried. This was not Jianchuan, nor was it a home with a complete security system. Even with Su Che next door, Xianxia did not fall into a deep sleep. Midnight. There was a strong wind outside the window and a strange sound came from outside the hotel. Xianxia immediately opened his eyes. Then he let go of Muchichi, got up and called Su Che. Su Che walked out from the room next door and saw a black figure disappearing at the end of the corridor. Su Che chased after it, but it soon disappeared into the hotel garden without a trace. A few minutes later, Su Che came back and checked the door of Xianxiao's room. He found that the door lock had been tampered with. So it's very professional. If I wasn't here, the consequences would be unimaginable. Let's change rooms. Xianxia carried Muchichi from the bed and went straight into Su Che's room. When everything was quiet again, Xianxia lay on the bed and thought about it. Sometimes he really did not know whether it was right or wrong to agree to Muchichi's help, because this was clearly a case that should not be dug into. He was afraid that the more Muchichi and the others investigated, the greater the danger would be. Seeing that the thing in his arms was sleeping like a child, Xianxia lowered his head and kissed her forehead. Do you know what kind of person you're dealing with? A vicious criminal. Not all criminals are helpless. Do you know what it means to fight with wits and courage? It was not that Muchichi did not know. It was just that when Xianxia was beside her, she let down all her guard. If she was sleeping alone, she would be much more vigilant. For example, she would put a cup on the doorknob and search for cameras in the room. It was only because her man was beside her that she dared to be so reckless. The next day, when Muchichi woke up, Xianxia had already gotten up. Seeing that he had tidied up neatly, Muchichi quickly got out of bed. Why didn't you wake me up? Xianxia did not mention anything about what happened last night. He just grabbed her arm and said, I'll be your driver today. Must it be like this? Xianxia nodded. I'm here to take you home. Well, senior brother Qing would laugh at her for being a child who had not weaned off her mother's milk again. In fact, only she knew how vicious Xianxiao's eyes were and how meticulous his heart was. If this goes on, no one in the family will earn money because I've captured you to investigate the case. Don't be heartless. After investigating this case, go back to school in peace. For some reason, Muchichi felt that Xianxia seemed to know something. However, once he planned to hide it from her, he would not say anything. Soon they gathered at the door. After Muchichi and Old Qing discussed, the two of them prepared to retrieve Mama Bai's call records and begin to investigate the suspects. Actually, the workload was not that big. After all, Mama Bai only contacted people on weekends and it was a fixed number. There shouldn't be many. Sure enough, after the two of them scanned Mama Bai's call records, they locked onto two numbers and quickly found the owners of these two numbers. One was called Zhou Xian and the other was Su Hong. Now, as long as we verify the identities of these two people, everything will be easy. But was it really as simple as Old Qing said? Chi-Chi, rest for a while. I'll call Captain Tang and see what he says. Old Qing took out his phone. He couldn't hide his excitement because this seemed to be one step closer to the truth. Chi-Chi nodded. She was drenched in sweat from running and returned to the car to rest. However, just as Old Qing was making the call, a motorcycle suddenly appeared from around the corner and crashed into Old Qing. Old Qing was caught off guard and was slammed into the wall. Muchichi sat in the car and saw everything clearly. Xianxia immediately turned his head and saw that Su Che had already gotten out of the car and was running away. The other party sensed that Su Che's skills were extraordinary. He turned around and sped away without any hesitation. Muchichi quickly got out of the car to check on Su Che's injuries. Old Qing, how are you? Chapter 767. Send him to the hospital immediately. Su Che chased after him, so Xianxia went forward to help him up. He said to Muchichi, "You're a medical student. You should know where he was hit. See if you can deal with it first." Muchichi saw blood seeping out of the corner of Old Cheng's mouth and immediately did not dare to touch him. "No, there's organ damage in his abdomen. We have to do an abdominal TC immediately." When he heard the words organ damage, Xianxia sped up. He did not even realize that his hands were trembling as he held the steering wheel. If Old Qing had not called Tang Yan, if it had been Muchichi, then the consequences, he could not think about it at all. These people are crazy. Muchichi took out her phone in a panic and called Tang Yan. This was the first time she had seen her colleague suffer such a serious injury. "The other party wants to stop you from continuing the investigation. Come back to Jianchuan with me in the afternoon." "The current situation is not something you can control," Xianxia said coldly. "You're a forensic doctor. Why are you in the field?" Muchichi did not say anything. He just kept comforting Old Qing. Soon, the two of them sent Old Qing to the emergency room of a nearby hospital. After the hospital did a checkup, they immediately sent Old Qing to the operating theater. Muchichi took the TC scan and took a look. She knew how serious Old Qing's injury was. Many organs in the abdominal cavity were damaged. Among them, the liver was ruptured and bleeding, and the stomach and kidneys were all injured to varying degrees. One could imagine how hard the collision was. An hour after Old Qing entered the operating theater, Su Che arrived at the hospital. He shook his head at Xianxia. "I didn't catch him. He's a professional. He's familiar with the terrain and has extraordinary skills." Xianxia did not say anything and looked at Muchichi. Muchichi sat on the chair. She did not know what to say. She just held Xianxiao's hand. After following Tang Yan for so long, she had never encountered such a dangerous situation or come into contact with such a dangerous case. "After Old Cheng's surgery, I've already arranged for someone to send a plane over to transfer him back to Jianchuan. At the same time, you have to go back with me," Xianxia ordered Muchichi. "I want to wait for Captain Tang to come over. Madam, last night this person went to your room to cause trouble. However, the president was in the room at that time and he didn't succeed. So you can't help anyone if you stay here. This group of people dared to openly attack the police, which means that there is someone behind them. You'd better listen to me and stop being stubborn," Su Che advised in a low voice. Muchichi remained silent for a long time. After a while she sneered and said, "I just think it's a little ironic. This is J City. A strong dragon can't suppress a local snake. Even if the CEO is here, he can't do anything. I understand. It seemed that he really needed to return to Jianchuan and discuss this matter with Tang Yan. When Tang Yan received the news, he immediately told Mu Qiqi to retreat to Jianchuan. We can't continue investigating that place. A suicide case had just begun to take shape, and there were already people rushing out to stop the police from continuing to investigate. Wasn't that enough to explain the nature of this matter? Tang Yan immediately went to the chief's office and told him about old Cheng's serious injuries in J City. The chief sighed helplessly. Tang Yan, let's close this case as suicide. Chief. I know what you want to say, but we can't continue investigating now. The more you investigate, the more vigilant the other party will be. Instead of that, it's better to commit suicide and close the case. Then we can investigate in secret. That way the other party will relax and expose themselves. Do you think I don't want to give Bai Sini justice? Even if I'm the chief, there are some things I can't do. Let this matter go first. I promise you that I will definitely investigate thoroughly. When the time is right, I will give you an explanation. With the director's guarantee, Tang Yan nodded. He still abhorred evil, especially when the other party had seriously injured his subordinates. He wanted to barge into the tiger's den even more, but he was married and had a child. If things were still the same as 7 years ago, then what awaited him might be the destruction of his family. In the evening, old Qing was sent back to Jianchuan by a private plane. In his own territory he would be protected. Mu Qiqi also followed Xianxia back to Jianchuan. She had to give Tang Yan an explanation first. These are the results of old Qing and I've obtained for the past day and night. We found 2 suspicious people. Before we could do anything else, old Qing. Enough. You've worked hard. The chief has already asked for the case to be closed, Tang Yan said to Mu Qiqi. Don't take old Cheng's matter to heart. As a police officer, you're full of meritorious deeds. It's just that you might scare your family members. Really? Do you want to close the case? Bai Sini died in vain. We all know, but we can't just run around like headless flies. We need to think about this matter in the long run. In short, don't worry about it. I've also promised Co. Xing that I won't lend you out to investigate cases while you're studying. After saying that, Tang Yan patted Mu Qiqi on the shoulder. Let's go back. Those women who were faked as suicides might just be victims. Mama Bai is the middleman. She didn't even let her own daughter off. This was a train of thought that Mu Qiqi had sorted out. Before she left, she felt that it was necessary to tell Tang Yan. Let's go back. Tang Yan nodded, expressing his approval of Mu Qiqi's deduction. In fact, they gradually understood what was going on, but there were some things that they couldn't confront head-on. Then take good care of senior brother Cheng. After saying this, Mu Qiqi left the city branch office because she believed that Tang Yan would definitely find the mastermind of this matter. He definitely would. Tang Yan and the chief's intention was to find an informant to get close to Su Hong and the man named Zhou Xian. But on the surface, the Jianchuan branch office had to pretend that this matter was over. Therefore, in the evening, the branch office announced that Bai Sini's suicide was established and the case was handed over. In any case, Tang Yan had a copy of everything that needed to be collected. This time he had to cast a long line to catch a big fish. Seeing this result, Mu Qiqi once again felt that the living were scarier than the dead. Actually, when she thought about it seriously, she could understand why Xianxia was so worried. If he hadn't come last night, then the person lying in the hospital now would be her. After thinking it through, Mu Qiqi quietly went to the study. Seeing that someone was busy, she silently hugged him from behind. I never knew that being a police officer would be so scary. But everyone knows, but there are still people who insist on it. Because everyone understands that someone has to do this. Chapter 768. Mu Qiqi did not say anything else. She let go of Xing Zhao's hands and left the study silently. In the past, the reason why she chose to be a forensic doctor was very simple. It was because of the deaths of her grandmother and mommy. She wanted to redress the grievances of the dead. But now she could clearly feel that Xianxia was enduring it. He was tolerating her stepping on his bottom line again and again. After all, he did not want anything. He only wanted her to be safe by his side. Mu Qiqi felt uncomfortable, so she did not tell Xianxia and walked to Tang Yan's house. She did not know if it was because Feng Shanshan was pregnant, but she seemed much gentler. When she saw Mu Qiqi, she knew that she was in a bad mood, so she said, Did you encounter a multiple-choice question? Why are you, a student who is still in school, not as good as me, a person who has been expelled? Mu Qiqi lowered her head. For a moment she did not know what to say. You've always been a sharp-tongued person, but there are times when you can't say a word. Feng Xianxian poured her a glass of warm water and pursed her lips. I don't have any experience to give you. Don't count on it. I'd better change departments. After all, if I continue to be a forensic doctor, it will make him so unhappy. What about you? Feng Xianxian asked her in return. You don't want to be a forensic doctor anymore? Your hesitation tell me that you're only forcing yourself to give in. But I'm overestimating myself, Mu Qiqi said mockingly. Mu Qiqi laughed mockingly. My weakness will only bring him endless worry and trouble. Even when I'm on a business trip, I won't let him have a peace of mind. Maybe I'm still too young and arrogant. Feng Xianxian listened to Mu Qiqi's words, but she looked behind Mu Qiqi. Xiao stood outside the door with his hands in his trouser pockets. He did not push open the iron door and enter. He only secretly listened to the conversation between the two. I can only say that your man dotes on you too much. He's also your first love, so he didn't let you suffer too much emotionally. He accommodates you in everything. You also think I'm not satisfied, right? Mu Qiqi smiled helplessly. But I'm a person too. I have my own thoughts and goals. If I give up, I'll gradually lose myself, won't I? I'm really not afraid of suffering, and I'm not afraid of tiredness. I can do whatever I want to do, but I don't know how to deal with it once I clash with Xiao. I'm useless and weak. I've been with him for so long, but I don't think I've done anything for him. I'm always causing trouble for him. I'm so frustrated. Feng Xianxian knew that Xiao was at the door, so she deliberately lured Mu Qiqi to speak her mind. Why don't you find someone else? Are you kidding me? Even if I die, my flesh, my bones, and my soul belong to the Xing family. I won't leave him even if I die. Mu Qiqi glared at Feng Xianxian and snorted. Xiao stood outside the door for a while and listened to their conversation. Earlier in the study, he knew that his answer had hurt the little one's heart. Since he couldn't find her at home, he thought that she might have come here. Why did he have to force her? It was just because he thought about what happened during the day and was anxious. So he lost his patience with her. But his little one had always been like this. She had always been an independent person. She didn't rely on anyone. Just as she said, if she gradually lost her sense of self, she would be no different from the women outside. Self was a person's unique soul. After a while, Xiao turned around and left. He didn't enter Tang Yan's house because he knew that she also had her dignity. As for changing departments, Mu Qiqi sat at Tang Yan's house for half an hour until Tang Yan returned home. Seeing the two of them being so sweet, Mu Qiqi couldn't stay any longer, so she got up and went home. When she entered the living room, Xiao was already asleep. Was this man angry with her? Thinking of this, Mu Qiqi's heart skipped a beat. After taking a shower and returning to the bedroom, Mu Qiqi crawled under the blanket and lay beside Xiao. If it were any other day, this man would have hugged her directly. But tonight he didn't move at all. Mu Qiqi thought for a moment and pounced on him. If he was tired, she could also take the initiative to hug him. Xiao hugged her and didn't say anything. His breathing was even and he seemed to be very sleepy. Mu Qiqi lay on Xiao's body for a long time before saying, Xiao, I'll change departments, okay? Go to sleep. Xiao didn't say anything. He just said those two words indifferently. Mu Qiqi pouted. He felt wronged. I've already given in, but you're still so cold. So she simply let go of Xiao and slept by the side. Tomorrow she would go back to school and apply for a transfer. Late at night, Sheng Kai received a call from Jin Bo by Cindy's case had been handled properly. He no longer needed to worry about the police. He only needed to comfort her family. Jin Bo was personally paying attention to Bai Cindy's case. What did this mean? Sheng Kai had a rough idea. Now, as an innocent insider, he knew that he had been pulled into the abyss. From now on he could only follow Jin Bo because he knew very well that even if he didn't do anything now, he was covering up for a crime. Godfather, what exactly did Bai Cindy and those employees die for? Didn't Bai Cindy commit suicide? Jin Bo replied with a smile. Akai, don't let your imagination run wild. Run Chongrong well. Godfather thinks highly of you. Godfather, if you really trust me, tell me everything. I swear that I will always follow you loyally. Okay, you're my godson. I won't harm you. It's getting late. Rest early. With that, Jinbo hung up the phone. Xingkai put down his phone. His hands were trembling because he knew that there was no turning back now. Gu Xiling saw that he was preoccupied, so she sat in front of the dressing table and sneered. I thought that I would really rise to prominence after acknowledging my godfather. Now that I think about it, I can't even compare to someone else's dog. Say that again? Gu Xiling shrugged. Of course she wouldn't be an idiot. However, Xingkai was really unreliable. If Grandpa didn't allow her to get a divorce, then she wouldn't. However, from now on she would only live for herself. As for Xingkai, he had ambition but no ability. Sooner or later he would get himself into trouble. At that time, Grandpa would know that Xingkai was incompetent and not because of her provocation. The next day, Mu Qiqi woke up early but found that Xing Xiao had left earlier than her. He seemed to have made up his mind to ignore her. Mu Qiqi was not discouraged. She packed her things and arrived at school on time. One of the things she was going to do today was to transfer to another faculty. Chapter 769. After arriving at the school, Mu Qiqi went straight to the dean and expressed her intention to transfer. However, this surprised the dean. Qiqi, you're only a student now, but you've accumulated a lot of experience in autopsies. You've also gained the trust of the branch office. Why do you suddenly want to transfer? Qiqi, have you thought about it? This is a great future. I have some personal reasons, Mu Qiqi answered awkwardly. Some things are more important than this. The dean sighed, thought for a moment and said, wait, let me think about it. Xianxia just didn't leave. If you leave too, what will happen to my forensics department? The two of you are the living signboards of the forensics department. Alright, then I'll go back to class first. Mu Qiqi did not force the dean to agree immediately. The dean stroked his chin with a puzzled expression. No matter how he looked at it, Mu Qiqi did not look like someone who would give up halfway. Why did she suddenly want to transfer? The dean thought about it and decided to try contacting Zhongting. He felt that Mu Qiqi was like a child who had not grown up yet. All her rights were in Xing Zhao's hands. The secretary received a call from Mu Qiqi and transferred it to Xing Zhao's office. Pio Xing, sorry to disturb you. I'm Qiqi's dean. Has she encountered some difficulties recently? Why would she want to transfer? Do you know about this? Xing Xiao leaned against his office chair. Of course he knew why. He had been angry with that thing last night. He did not expect her to really ask the school about it. Forget it, I don't know. I also want to know why she wants to transfer, Xing Xiao replied calmly. How about this? I'll come over with my secretary in the afternoon. We'll talk face to face then. The dean did not expect to meet an outstanding alumnus. Of course, that was exactly what he wanted. See you in the afternoon. The dean could not hide his excitement. It turned out that Mu Qiqi did not discuss this with her family. He did not know why she was throwing a tantrum. This was really not in line with her usual personality. However, if Xing Xiao were to appear, he felt that he could keep her. After lunch, Mu Qiqi was taking a lunch break in the library. The dean sent someone to find her and asked her to go to the office immediately. Mu Qiqi thought that the dean had probably found a way to convince her and wanted to give it a try. Mu Qiqi closed the pathology textbook and walked quickly to the dean's office. However, when she stopped at the door, she heard a familiar voice. Mu Qiqi knocked on the door and entered. Sure enough, she saw a man in a suit and leather shoes. He had the aura of a king wherever he went. His expression was serious and the way he looked at her was filled with doubt. Qiqi, don't blame me for inviting Xiao Xing over. Tell me, why didn't you discuss something as important as transferring to another faculty with your family? No room for negotiation? She had told a certain man last night, okay? Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just drank the good tea that the dean had brought out with a faint smile. If it's possible, I hope that you can tell me why you want to change departments. In front of Xiao Xing, we all want to hear the reason. That man clearly knew the reason, yet he still deliberately tormented her. Was he that angry? Tell me. I want to hear it too. Xing Xiao slowly put down the teacup and looked at Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and answered seriously, it's too dangerous. I'm afraid of death. That's it? The dean was stunned. He thought that Mu Qiqi was going to say something long, but he didn't expect her to only say 7 words. Qiqi, aren't you being too hasty? You're also a forensic assistant. The danger of being a forensic doctor isn't high. The dean was very puzzled and looked at Xianxia inquiringly. Xing, what do you think? I think so too. The danger of being a forensic doctor isn't bad. So, there's no need to talk about transferring departments. Xianxia made the final decision. The dean's face immediately beamed like a flower. However, Mu Qiqi looked at Xianxia and suddenly did not understand him. Dean, can you give me 2 minutes to talk to CEO Xing alone? Mu Qiqi turned to the dean and asked in a very sincere tone. The dean thought for a few seconds and nodded. I'll go out for a breather. When Mu Qiqi saw that he had left, she glared at Xianxia. Master Xiao, I suddenly don't understand you. You're the one who said it's too dangerous, and you're the one who didn't let me transfer departments. Xianxia took the opportunity to hook his arm around her neck and pull her closer. When did I agree to you transfer departments? Last night? But you know that I'll feel sorry for you. It's your business if you feel sorry for me. It's my business if I don't agree. The forensic doctor's doing well. There's no need to transfer. Xianxia let go of her neck to prevent the people outside the window from peeping. But I'll still be in danger. I won't let a little thing sacrifice herself for me. Xianxia leaned against the sofa and stood up. Then why were you angry in the morning? You even lost your temper and ignored me and left. Xianxia thought for a moment and tilted his head to look at her. I left a note for the morning meeting. You're deliberately making me anxious. Mu Qiqi was sure that this man knew how to play tricks. Yes, so what? Xianxia slowly curled his lips, confident and proud. Don't let your dean worry if it's nothing. It's not good to scare someone into a heart attack, although I, Xianxia, don't lack this bit of compensation. Mu Qiqi really wanted to bite him hard. He had made her suffer all night and worry about him. In the end, she had been taught a lesson by him. Especially after the dean came back in, Xianxiao's words were really asking for a beating. Maybe she wants to pretend to be mature so Qiqi has more ideas. I hope you can help me restrain and discipline her so that I don't have to worry. The dean knew what kind of role Xianxia had in Mu Qiqi's eyes, so he nodded. Of course. Don't worry, Wuxia. As long as she did not leave, everything was fine. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. However, even though she had been fooled by this man, she was still happy because he still understood her. He understood that she did not want to give up her career, even if she knew how dangerous it was to be a forensic doctor. A moment later, Xianxia left Xingting. The dean turned around and taught Mu Qiqi a lesson. Qiqi, it's not that I'm scolding you, but look at how good Xiao Xing is to you. He has so many things to deal with every day, but he still took the time to meet me for your matter. Don't not know how lucky you are. Amen. Mu Qiqi returned to the classroom and continued her lessons. However, it was precisely because she did not succeed in changing departments that she always felt that she owed Bai Sini. She felt terrible that she could not find the murderer. Chapter 770. Tang Yan found a reliable informant to get close to Zhou Xian and Su Hong. There would be news in a few days. Of course, Bai Sini could not die in vain. Also, her crazy mother was extremely cunning. She must have a lot of things in her stomach that she did not spit out to the police. However, after being a police officer for so many years, the thing he had learned the best was to be patient and wait for the big fish to take the bait. Mu Qiqi kept her forensics major. The first thing she did when she returned home was to settle the score with a certain someone. Was he teasing her? She had been upset the whole night yesterday. However, after entering the door, Mu Qiqi realized that Xianxia was taking a shower in the bathroom and did not close the door. Mu Qiqi immediately had the urge to peek. In the bathroom, Xianxia was lying in the bathtub to take a nap. Just his exposed chest muscles was enough to make Mu Qiqi's nose bleed. It had been so many years, why was he still so monstrous? If you want to see, then do it openly, Xianxia said to Mu Qiqi behind the door with his eyes closed. After such a long time, how could he not know that there was a burning gaze behind him? You were so angry yesterday. Why didn't you let me transfer? Mu Qiqi leaned against the door frame and asked Xianxia. It wasn't easy for me to make up my mind. That's not called making up your mind. Xianxia snorted softly as he lay in the water. If you really made up your mind, you wouldn't have gone to Feng Xianxian to complain. She told you that. Muchichi thought about it carefully and felt that it was impossible. Feng Xianxian was not a talkative person. Then this man must have heard it himself. No wonder she said that this man would not go out to look for her. I don't like you taking risks and can't tolerate you being in danger, but I'm not so dictatorial that I want to deprive you of your ideals. In the future I will still be angry where I should be, but you don't have to transfer because of this. After Muchichi heard this, she walked to the bathtub and squatted at the edge. I want to transfer not only because of you but also because of something else. There are many cases in the world that can't be solved. If you face them with such a mentality, then it'll be a waste of Tang Yan and the others' efforts. Xianxia suddenly stood up and splashed water all over Muchichi. Last night I dreamed of Bai Sini. She stood in front of me covered in blood and begged me to avenge her. Hearing that, Xianxia wrapped a towel around himself and pinched Muchichi's cheek. Don't think too highly of yourself. You are only important when you are with me. Even if Bai Sini wants to appear in a dream, she would look for Tang Yan. Why would she look for you? Muchichi nodded and agreed with Xianxia. He felt much better now. Then she followed him out of the bathroom. When she saw him sitting on the edge of the bed, she sat on his lap. Xianxia looked at her and she put her arm around his shoulders. What? You can't sit? I haven't hugged you for one night and you're already impatient? Xianxia took off her school bag and put it aside. Then he let her sit on his lap. If you need anything in the future, just tell me. Don't look for outsiders, okay? Yeah. Muchichi nodded. After being taught a lesson by Xianxia, Muchichi stayed at home to read and watch TV. This was because she did not need to investigate the case now, nor did she need to work overtime. However, just as she was watching the news in boredom, she saw that Sheng Bowen was trending. According to the news report, Sheng Bowen's car had hit a little girl who had fallen to the ground at a certain intersection, but he immediately drove away. The little girl was sent to the hospital with the help of a passerby. At present, the little girl's mother had already called the police. According to the surveillance footage, the car that ran over the little girl was a blue Lamborghini. It belongs to Sheng Bowen, the current person in charge of the well-known company Huang Yao. Huang Yao has yet to respond to this, and the police are also conducting further investigations into the case. After Muchichi finished reading, she immediately looked at Xianxia, who was flipping through the information at the side. Do you already know? Isn't it third brother? It's his car, but I don't know who's driving it, Xianxia replied. Hurry up and call him. Muchichi took out her phone and wanted to dial Sheng Bowen's number. However, after thinking about it carefully, she felt that it was not appropriate, so she called Ren Yufei. On the other end of the line, Ren Yufei was sobbing. Third sister-in-law, what's going on? I just saw the news. At that time your third brother and I were on our way home. Because there was another car on the right, we were in a blind spot. We didn't notice that there was someone under the car and thought that it was just running over a rock. We only found out after the fact that a child was involved under the car. Your third brother has already gone to the hospital. It's not what the media reported. We are all very concerned and worried about the child's safety. Since that's the case, let the police investigate it carefully. Muchichi comforted Ren Yufei. I also hope that the child's life is not in danger. But why did the child fall to the ground when crossing the road? Where's the guardian? The police are checking the surveillance footage now. Don't panic. The child will definitely be fine. Yes, your third brother won't let me go to the hospital with him at all. Of course, if she went, she would inevitably be scolded by the child's guardian or even treated even more extreme. How could Sheng Bowen bear to do that? If there's any new news or if you need help, you must remember to call us. Muchichi reminded Ren Yufei. Those two were kind little sheep. They did not know when they had been devoured by a ferocious beast. Okay. Because she still had things to deal with, Ren Yufei hung up the phone. After Muchichi put down her phone, she could not help but sigh. Her greatest hope was that the child would be fine. However, Sheng Bowen was probably going to suffer a little. In the hospital, Sheng Bowen had already brought a professional lawyer and an insurance company commissioner to the child's parents. When the child's mother saw Sheng Bowen, she broke down and shouted, "If anything happens to my daughter because of you, I'll definitely make you die with her. You're the hit-and-run driver. I'll see you until you go bankrupt." The girl's father pointed at Sheng Bowen and said angrily, "You didn't even let the child go. You're heartless. Xingbowen listened to the two of them scolding him silently, then bowed solemnly and apologized. I really didn't mean to run over the child. I really hope that the child can be safe. For this I can pay any price. I didn't hit and run. I really didn't know that I actually hit a child. Stop being so hypocritical. You hit someone and then ran. If you're not running away, what are you? I think if it weren't for the fact that you're the president of a big company, you would have long disappeared without a trace. The child's parents were obviously very reluctant to see Xingbowen now. Chapter 771. Xingbowen did not leave the hospital because he was concerned about the child's safety. Xiaoxing, why don't you go back first? Shall we negotiate with the child's parents here? The lawyer suggested to him. The most important reason was that the lawyer felt that Xingbowen was too kind. Instead, it would give those people with ulterior motives an opportunity to take advantage of him. This was indeed compensation, but it was not without a bottom line. I'll wait outside. When I'm sure the child is fine, I'll go to the police station, Xingbowen answered the lawyer. Okay. After the discussion, Xingbowen was about to turn around. However, the hospital nurse suddenly walked in front of Xingbowen and said to him, You're the person in charge of this traffic accident, right? I am. Let me tell you a few things in secret. Don't be deceived by that couple. First of all, this child has leukemia and is already very sick. Secondly, they are not the child's parents at all. They are the child's uncle and aunt. When the child was hospitalized, they rarely appeared. I reckon that these two people want to extort a lot of money from you. The nurse held the tray and kindly reminded Xingbowen of something. Thank you. Xingbowen nodded and accepted the other party's kindness. In short, you be careful. No matter what the couple looked like, the child was always innocent. Moreover, as the person in charge of a famous company, no matter how he dealt with this matter, the outside world would find all kinds of excuses to abuse him. However, that was not important now. What was important was the child's life. 2 hours later, the child's surgery was over. The doctor walked out of the operating theater and told everyone who was waiting outside the operating theater. The child is fine. The injury is not as serious as you think. Take good care of him. Hearing this, everyone in Xingbowen's team heaved a sigh of relief. After all, it was a little life. On the other hand, the person who claimed to be the child's parents seemed a little disappointed. Even if the child is fine, that man can forget about escaping the punishment of the law. The child's mother said fiercely. The hit and run won't be over so easily. The other party was the victim and the weaker party, so he was naturally protected by public opinion. Naturally, the police will deal with that matter. But now, I have been entrusted by my client to be responsible for the child's health. As the child's parents, you should also think about the child's health. I hate the faces of rich people like you the most. You think that everything can be settled with money. Let me tell you, I don't want his money. I want him to pay the price. The child's father shouted sternly. The lawyer had no choice but to go out and tell Xingbowen the parents' thoughts. If this matter is not handled properly, it will have a huge negative impact on Huang Yao. It's good that the child is healthy. Leave the rest to the public relations department. Xingbowen turned around and said to the lawyer, Go to the police station now. Chief Xing, I suggest that you call Miss Mu about this, the lawyer said to Xingbowen. About this, Xing. He did not about it. So he followed the lawyer's advice and called Mu Qiqi. So, about the child. Xing. The Li T about is family. About T about, shout. The child is fine, but I have a few questions here. I want to use your and eighth brother's terrifying analytical senses to help me see the essence of this matter. Tell me. Mu Qiqi was suddenly interested. Just now at the hospital, the nurse told me that this child has congenital leukemia and has been staying in the hospital. The couple that took her out were not her biological parents, but her uncle and aunt. The nurse told me that the two of them were probably here to extort money. Normally, they don't come to the hospital to look after the child, but after the child's accident, the two of them jumped out of thin air. Afterwards, our team communicated with the couple. They were adamant that they wanted to sue me. They weren't here for the negotiation or money. So I felt very conflicted. So, I really want to know if this is a coincidence or if someone is behind this. He had been subtly influenced by Xianxia and Wuxia. So, Xing Bowen would use his brain to think about it now. Now that the outside world has made you look like a heinous criminal, it has a huge impact on Huang Yao. I think this is why the couple didn't want to communicate. Wuxia thought for a moment and said to Xing Bowen, there are indeed many suspicious points in this matter. First of all, we have to figure out who the little girl's biological parents are and why the child is being raised by her uncle and aunt. Secondly, since the child is sick and hospitalized, why did they take her out at night and let her cross the road by herself? In any case, you just continue to pretend to be a naive and innocent person and investigate this matter in secret until the truth comes to light. I have the same idea. I'll go to the police station to make a statement now. Xing Bowen rubbed his forehead and answered Wuxia, I just hope that this matter has nothing to do with that person. Whether it's related or not, we'll know after investigating. However, even if we find out the truth in the end, the damage to your reputation will definitely be irreparable. After all, the child was injured because of me. I'm mentally prepared. After hanging up, Wuxia still felt that something was wrong, so she called Tang Yan. She wanted to know if she could get the traffic police in charge to handle the matter impartially through him. She wasn't asking for any special treatment. She just wanted justice. If this matter was really related to Xing Kai, then the other party's hand would be as long as it was in J City. He definitely couldn't be underestimated. If possible, she also wanted to see what the surveillance footage was like at that time. Xianxia silently listened to the conversation between the two of them. He thought to himself that this little one probably wanted to interfere in third brother's matters again. Actually, she couldn't be blamed. From Bai Sini's case to Xing Bowen's current case, there must be a connection between them. After all, Xing Kai was the current person in charge of Chongrong Electronics. In addition, Wuxia had always been protective of her own people. Therefore, Xianxia patted Wuxia's head and said as if admitting defeat, since you want to interfere, then go ahead and investigate. Previously, she had a tacit understanding with Xing Bowen. One was playing dumb in the open, while the other was secretly investigating the case. It was actually not a bad idea. Third brother and third sister-in-law aren't good at arguing. If they encounter such an unreasonable person, they won't be able to deal with it. Moreover, I really want to know if this matter has anything to do with Xing Kai. There's no need to explain. After Wuxia heard this, she jumped onto Xianxia and hugged his waist. I knew it. You're the best. In fact, this ring was Jean Bo's so-called gift to Xing Kai. Chapter 772. Huang Yao's stock fell and the morale of the board of directors was unstable. After such a big incident, no one knew if Xing Bowen could continue to lead Huang Yao safely. Therefore, after the incident, the board of directors called Old Master Xing and asked if the Xing family could introduce a new successor so that they could make plans early. The matter has not been decided yet. Are you all so impatient? Bowen has led Huang Yao for so long and he has never disappointed you, has he? I believe in my grandson. He will definitely be able to handle the matter well, so you don't have to be so anxious. After all, eighth brother is still here. When the other party heard Xing Zhao's name, they did not say anything else. According to Zhongting's current development, even if there were 10 Huang Yaos, Xing Zhao would still be able to suppress them. Seeing that the old man kept receiving calls, Ren Yufei felt very helpless. Grandpa, I'm really useless. I can't help it all. How can you be blamed for this? The old man waved his hand. Yufei, don't be anxious. Ever since third brother married you, he has become much more stable. I believe he can handle it. I hope so. Grandpa, it's getting late. You should go in and rest. I'll wait for him. I can't sleep if he doesn't come back. Let's go together. The stock fell. His reputation was damaged. The old man did not feel any heartache at all. He cared more about his grandson now. Taking advantage of this time, the old man called Xing Xiao. Eighth brother, you know about third brother's matter, right? Yes, Xing Xiao said calmly. I don't ask for anything else. I just hope that you can protect your third brother's safety. You know him. He's kind. It's both a strength and a weakness. It was rare for the old man to call him for help because of third brother's matter. Xing Xiao smiled faintly and replied, You don't have to worry. Isn't it enough to have a busybody in the family? Old Master Xing understood Xing Zhao's hint. He knew that Mu Qiqi would intervene and was relieved. Good. She was clearly just a little girl in her early 20s. Old Master Xing did not understand why he trusted her so much. But the truth was that this girl was really trustworthy. It was late at night and Xing Bowen was still making statements at the police station. Mu Qiqi and Su Che rushed to the police station, and the traffic police were still asking Xing Bowen all kinds of questions. Right now your situation is a little complicated. Whether or not it constitutes an escape, we still have to wait for the liability recognition letter. You'd better think of a way to prove that you really didn't know or didn't notice the accident at the time. Otherwise you may face detention. This is to let you be mentally prepared. Now that there's nothing else, you can go. But Mu Qiqi wanted to see the surveillance footage. From the looks of it, he could only look for a nearby shop to see if there were any cameras that could capture this scene. Why are you here? Xing Bowen turned around and saw Mu Qiqi waiting at the door. He suddenly felt much more relaxed. I'm just worried about you. Of course, Mu Qiqi did not say the last two words. I have a general understanding of the situation. Now it's up to the traffic police to decide if you are a hit and run. I really don't know. I still need Yu Fei to make up the statement tomorrow. Xing Bowen shrugged. There are already people making a big deal out of your escape. How can you still laugh? Mu Qiqi walked in front and glared at him. Now we have two things to do. The first is to find a way to get the surveillance footage of the shops around the scene of the accident. The second is to immediately investigate the 18 generations of the couple's ancestors. You're becoming more and more like a police officer. You can continue being a silly and sweet person and think that everything in the world is perfect. Whether this matter has anything to do with Xing Kai or not, let him be proud of himself for now. Xing Bowen also had the same plan. He was prepared to show off his silly and sweet face to others in the future. However, just as they walked out of the police station, the hospital called. The little girl's life was in danger. When he left just now, the doctor had clearly said that the child was out of danger. How long had it been? If I were that couple, if I wanted you to compensate more, I might have to make you pay a greater price. I might have also taken a risk. After all, that's not their biological daughter and she's terminally ill. After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, Xing Bowen's expression was gloomy and scary. The conspiracy between adults should not involve children, especially such a pitiful child. When we get to the hospital later, don't say anything. Let me speak on your behalf. Okay. Xing Bowen calmed down and nodded. However, no matter what I say later, just watch. The other party will definitely cry and throw a tantrum because he's on the weaker side. He clearly doesn't really care about the child. The matter with Huang Yao had blown up. Xing Kai was naturally filled with excitement when he saw the full news report. It turned out that his godfather was not lying to him. He had really given him a huge gift. Old Master Xing had always cherished Huang Yao's reputation. Now that Xing Bowen had caused such a huge scandal, it would probably make him feel worse than killing him. Then Jinbo called Xing Kai. Okay, do you like such a gift? Of course I like it, godfather. It's good that you like it. This is just the beginning. Jinbo smiled. What do you think about sending him to prison? Godfather, are you confident? Jinbo chuckled. After a long while he slowly answered Xing Kai, a hit and run. Of course, such a person has to be punished. If that's really the case, I'll definitely follow Godfather's lead in the future. As long as you're happy. After saying that, Jinbo hung up. If Xing Bowen could really go to prison because of this, it would be a heavy blow to both the Xing family and Huang Yao. Of course, he was happy to see it happen. However, he did not know how Jinbo had set up such a trap. When Mu Qiqi and the others arrived at the hospital, it was already 11 o'clock at night. After another resuscitation, the little girl was sent to the ICU. The guardians seemed to have been waiting for Xing Bowen on purpose. Even though they looked extremely disheveled, they still wanted to see Xing Bowen to vent their anger. It's all because of you. My daughter was almost separated from me by life and death. You murderer. Mu Qiqi glanced at her and stood in front of Xing Bowen and the agitated woman. She grabbed her waving hand and said, "You have deep feelings for your niece, don't you?" When the guardian heard Mu Qiqi's words, she was stunned for a moment before returning to her original fierceness. So what? The child grew up without parents. He grew up with us. This is our child. Madam, you have to think carefully before you speak. Muchichi shook off her wrist, took out her phone and turned on the recording function. You have to know that I've recorded everything you say now. I've never seen a perpetrator so arrogant. The reason I'm doing this is to remind you of what you said today. Otherwise, when the time comes, I'll be embarrassed for you. Chapter 773. Are you still human? My daughter is so seriously injured and you're still bullying us victims. Lady, you probably don't know. I'm also a medical student and a forensic doctor. I'll find out why your daughter was resuscitated again after the doctor announced that she was out of danger. Muchichi was too lazy to fight with the other party. She aimed for the heart of the other party and hit the nail on the head. Sure enough, the woman's expression changed when she heard this. Don't try to mislead people. That's my daughter. I won't allow you to see her. What if you do something and harm my daughter? The woman looked like she was going to put on an act until the end. I heard that the child's parents are no longer around and the child has leukemia. For a family like yours, this expense should be too much for you to bear, right? I think you'd rather the child leave without a trace. On the contrary, why would we harm the child? This won't do us any good, lady. The woman did not expect this young girl to be able to see through their thoughts, so she became angry out of embarrassment. I said, for the sake of justice, we don't want compensation. I just want that man to pay the price. Really? Muchichi's expression became even more unfathomable. Of course, you can pretend that you don't care about money in front of us because someone has already paid in secret, right? The woman was stunned. Seeing this, Muchichi continued to pursue the victory. You don't have to be so panicked. The truth can't be fake and the fake can't be real. We'll find out the truth after we investigate it. I know what you're thinking, but I can tell you very clearly that don't think you can get away with it. Even if the Xing family is implicated because of this, I want you to know that if the Xing family bears with it, I want you to bear with it. If the Xing family bears with it, you have to bear with it. If the Xing family bears with it, you have to bear with it. If the Xing family bears with it, you have to bear with it. If the Xing family bears with it, you have to bear with it. Facing such a strong Muchichi, the woman was speechless. Because no one told her that this girl was actually so powerful. Third brother, go and see the child. I'll go and find the child's attending doctor and ask him why the child needs to be resuscitated a second time. Of course, Muchichi's words were meant for her so-called aunt to hear. It was because killing this girl would bring her too many benefits. Xing Bowen nodded and led Su Che to the entrance of the child's intensive care unit under the guidance of the nurse. Xing Bowen looked at the little girl through the glass. He really couldn't bear to see her. Her thin and weak body had to endure so much suffering. He was also one of the culprits. If this child can really get through this safely, I will definitely find a way to cure her illness and sponsor her to go to school. Standing behind Xing Bowen, Su Che could feel how rich Xing Bowen's emotions were. That was the biggest difference between him and Xing Xiao. Meanwhile, Muchichi found the little girl's attending doctor. It's because of the adverse reaction of anesthesia which caused the child's cardiac arrest. We have informed the child's family about this part, and they have signed in advance, the attending doctor explained. The child's anesthesia is monitored by a professional anesthesiologist. The measurement and other aspects are strictly controlled. Nowadays there are very few accidents in the clinic. What's more, after the child left the operating table, the anesthesia period is almost over. I don't believe this is an accident. The doctor looked at Muchichi and frowned. Do you have any questions about my profession? Doctor, that's not what I mean. Of course, I believe in your profession, but I don't believe in that couple. Muchichi told the doctor bluntly, your nurse has already told me that this couple is not the child's biological parents. Moreover, the child has long been seriously ill. If they don't want to continue to bear this burden, and now that they can blackmail a big company, it's not impossible for them to choose to take the risk. When that time comes, will the hospital be responsible if there is a medical accident? After hearing this, the doctor's expression softened and he took a deep breath. This is the patient's family matter. As doctors, we have no right to interfere. Moreover, you are the wrong party, so what you say is even more untrustworthy. Excessive use of anesthetic drugs will cause the heart rhythm to be out of balance and the blood concentration to be too high, which will lead to heart failure and sudden arrest. I believe that the hospital's anesthesiologists are professional enough, But what if someone knows medical knowledge and uses this to cause trouble? Are you also a medical student? The doctor looked at Mu Qiqi in confusion and sized her up. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and paused for a second before she said, "You open the living body to save the dying and help the injured. I open the dead body to seek justice and investigate the case." The doctor nodded. It was no wonder that there were so many doubts. "I understand what you mean. If possible, I will arrange for a blood test and urine test for the child. I will also remind the nurse to pay attention to the child's safety. Are you satisfied with this?" "Doctor, I don't want to make things difficult for you, but this is a life. I don't want to hurt the innocent because of the adult's viciousness." "You are a forensic doctor. You have seen more than us. Okay, we will do our best to protect the child." Whether it was a doctor or a forensic doctor, their purpose was actually the same: to serve life. The doctor could see that Mu Qiqi really cared about the child, so his tone softened. "If there is a result, I will ask the nurse to inform you. However, at this critical juncture, you still have to avoid arousing suspicion." "Thank you, doctor." Mu Qiqi did not believe that the second rescue was due to an adverse reaction caused by anesthesia. However, they could not find any evidence that the couple had harmed the child. A moment later, Mu Qiqi left the doctor's office and met up with Xing Bowen outside. "Have you seen the child?" "Yes, it's very fragile." Xing Bowen's psychological burden was very heavy. No matter what, the child had become like this because of him. He had to bear the main responsibility. "What about you? How did it go?" "There's nothing suspicious at the moment." "Of course there's nothing suspicious. Because from the beginning to the end, it was your Xing family who bullied others." The couple went forward and pointed at Mu Qiqi. "It's really amazing to be rich." However, Mu Qiqi did not intend to pay attention to them. "Since the child has been seen, let's go back." In fact, there were still many things they had to do that night. "I believe that justice will not be late. You, a scumbag who hit and ran, will definitely have retribution." Chapter 774. No matter how we look after the child, The woman pointed at Xing Bowen with a sharp voice. "He's the culprit. The traffic police will give a clear explanation for the division of responsibility. You guys should take good care of the child." With that, Mu Qiqi and Xing Bowen left the hospital together. After walking out of the hospital, Mu Qiqi turned to Su Che and said, "I might have to trouble you tonight. I'm worried about that little girl. I think that couple will wait for an opportunity to attack." Su Che understood what Mu Qiqi meant and replied, "I'll stay in the hospital. If anything happens, I'll collect evidence in time." Not only that couple but also the nurses with abnormal behavior. If the accident liability letter came down and Xing Bowen was determined to have escaped, then the sentence of serious injury and death would be completely different. Although Xing Bowen could apply for a review and hire a lawyer to defend him, a child was still a life. No one wanted such a young child to suffer such repeated torture. If this matter was eventually found to be related to Xing Kai, then one could imagine how vicious he was. "Xiaoqi, I've implicated you again." After Su Che left, Xing Bowen sighed. Why must there be so many schemes between people? If the accident liability letter comes down and you're convicted of escaping, then you'll be detained immediately. When you go back later, discuss the review with the lawyer and let the lawyer prepare to defend you. "Okay, I'll send someone to look for the surveillance footage and meet with the lawyer. I'll inform you as soon as there's any news." Xing Bowen nodded. Mu Qiqi had already helped him so much, so he had no reason to be depressed. Moreover, he still had to comfort Ren Yufei and his grandfather when he got home. What Mu Qiqi needed to do tonight was to investigate the background of the girl's family. If possible, it would be best to let her see the surveillance footage. Half an hour later, Xing Bowen sent Mu Qiqi back to the Banyan courtyard. He wanted to apologize to eighth brother in person, but it was too late. He still had to rush home to comfort the old man. Therefore, he could only wait until the matter was over. In fact, Mu Qiqi thought that since Xing Xiao had asked her to intervene in this matter, he would not personally ask about it. Unexpectedly, when Mu Qiqi returned home, she found that the little girl's information was already on the desk in the study. The youngest daughter was Meng Juyu. She was 5 years old. Her mother died in childbirth while giving birth to her. Her father passed away in a car accident when she was 2 years old. From then on, the little girl stayed with her grandparents. However, the exorbitant medical expenses caused the two elderly people to fall ill one after another. In the end, the little girl's uncle and aunt took the child over on the condition that the two elderly people would transfer the house under their names. Xiao Jiyu lived with her uncle and aunt for more than a year, but her condition was getting worse. The two of them often left Xiao Jiyu in the hospital, hired a nurse, and left her hanging half dead. They never took the initiative to ask about her in the hospital. To put it bluntly, the two of them were only looking forward to the death of their child for the sake of the house. That way they could lighten their burden earlier. As for Xiao Jiyu's so-called uncle and aunt, they didn't have a fixed job and lived off their parents, but they didn't have any bad records. If it was for money, it would be easy to get rid of them. But these two people are clearly bewitched by someone and want to kill third brother. Moreover, I'm more worried about the child's safety. I feel that whether it's the greedy couple or the people behind them, they don't want Xiao Jiyu to live. After Mu Qiqi finished reading the information, her face darkened. Such a little thing's background makes me feel angry and regretful. Xianxia heard her mutter and couldn't help but touch her head. I found the surveillance footage of that section of the road. It'll be here in half an hour. Third brother moved so quickly? Zhongting's people went to look for it. Xianxia knew better than them what Xing Bowen would face if he didn't find out the truth as soon as possible. The most important thing now was to prove that Xing Bowen didn't know anything. He also had to find evidence that the couple had deliberately harmed Xiao Jiyu's life. Only by doing two things at the same time could it be useful. I thought you didn't have time to care about this. Damn it, he's too slow. No one could compare to Xianxia in terms of foresight. This was what Mu Qiqi admired the most about Xianxia. Then I'll watch the surveillance footage tonight before I sleep, okay? Xianxia looked at the time. It was already early in the morning. If he didn't let her watch it, she probably wouldn't be able to sleep that night. Don't do it again. I have a feeling that I'll definitely find something useful in the surveillance footage. On the other side, Xing Bowen dragged his tired body into the living room. Rin Yufei and the rest of the Xing family immediately came up to him. Third brother, are you all right? Bowen, I'm fine. I've made you worry. Xing Bowen shook his head. All of you should go and rest. It's really fine. Huang Yao will be fine. The rest of the Xing family expressed their concern and then returned to their rooms. Only Rin Yufei and old Master Xing were left, and their expressions were not as relaxed. I talked to the lawyer for a while just now. The lawyer told me that the possibility of you escaping is very high. The old man sat on the sofa and sighed. Is the child okay? She's fine for now, Xing Bowen answered as he sat on the sofa. Third brother, tell me the truth. Did someone intentionally frame you? Did it have something to do with that bastard? Old Master Xing wasn't a fool. It was just that after the surgery his mind was a little slow. However, if he thought about it carefully he would understand. Grandpa, this is between us. I'm not afraid to compete with him. Xing Bowen neither admitted nor denied it because he knew that if he denied it, the old man might go to Xing Kai. When I chased him out, I thought that there might be such a day. I didn't expect retribution to come so quickly. Old Master Xing let out a long sigh. It's been hard on you. Where's Xiaoqi? She scolded the couple in the hospital and went back to look for evidence. Xing Bowen smiled and said, if it were anyone else, they really wouldn't be able to handle that kind of scene. Rin Yufei leaned against him. After hearing this, she felt very upset. I can't help it all. Go to the police station tomorrow and explain this matter clearly. Yufei, don't belittle yourself. Everyone has their own value, okay? Rin Yufei didn't expect Xing Bowen to comfort her. She immediately held Xing Bowen's hand tightly. Don't worry, I know what to do. Chapter 775. 3 in the morning, Banyan Courtyard. The light in Xing Zhao's study was still on. Mu Qiqi watched the footage of Xing Bowen's accident over and over again. She eliminated any other violations of the rules one by one. Although they were at the zebra crossing, the green light was indeed on. It should be the driving time for the car. Moreover, there was a car on the right lane, so Xing Bowen was in a blind spot. At that time, the woman had taken Xiao Jiyu to the zebra crossing when the light was yellow. When the light turned green, she immediately stopped and waited. However, for some reason Xiao Juoyu suddenly ran a few steps forward and tripped on the ground. His legs seemed to have no strength. Mu Qiqi had seen this scene countless times, including how the woman guarded Xiao Juoyu. The woman kept her hand on Xiao Juoyu's back and bent down to support her as she walked. This won't do. We know this is a conspiracy, but we can't find any evidence. Mu Qiqi forced herself to focus and carefully observe the surveillance. It would be great if I could enlarge the surveillance so that I could see the woman's hand. Mu Qiqi mumbled to herself and finally fell asleep in the study. As for Xing Xiao, on the other hand, he was checking the other surveillance cameras in his bedroom because it was the only way from Huang Yao to the Xing family. Xing Xiao collected all the surveillance footage from the past few days and carefully searched for the couple's figure. If they were really hiding there on purpose, they would definitely appear in the surveillance footage. The facts proved that it was as he had expected. At 5 in the morning, Mu Qiqi returned to the bedroom, climbed onto the big bed and lay beside Xing Xiao. Xiao Xiao, why do I feel like that woman put her hand behind Xiao Jiyu's back and pushed her? Go to sleep. If there's anything else we can talk about it tomorrow. I want to find witnesses. Mu Qiqi collapsed on the bed, exhausted to the extreme. Meanwhile, Xing Xiao opened his eyes. The sequence of events was like this. First, they had to prove that the couple had committed intentional murder. Then the lawyer would argue that Xing Bowen had no knowledge of the traffic accident. Of course, the difficulty of this matter was that the mastermind behind this matter had been in control of the whole situation. His goal was very clear. He wanted to send Xing Bowen to prison. If he wanted to seize the opportunity to counterattack, he had to distract his opponent. Thinking about it this way, it wasn't to the extent of walking into a hopeless situation. So when the sky brightened, Xing Xiao got up and called Tang Yan. Are you free? Face to face. I'll be right there. The two men took advantage of the fact that their respective women were resting, so they arranged to meet in the banyan courtyard. Fifth aunt came over early in the morning to brew coffee for the two of them, along with a nutritious breakfast. What information do you have so far? Tang Yan asked as he stirred his coffee. I always knew that there was someone behind Xing Kai. From the moment Xing Kai used Third Master Long to frame Huang Yao, the resources he had were not something the Gu family could support. The police haven't been able to find the source of the goods from Huang Yao. I think it's because the other party has a powerful background. After that, Bai Sini's case happened, which made me even more certain that the person behind Xing Kai was not only the murderer of Bai Sini's case, but also caused a lot of trouble in Jianchuan. I tried to find out who it was, but to no avail. Now Xing Kai is using that person's power to start targeting Huang Yao and the Xing family. I have to be on guard. But I think the closest time to this person is when Xiao Qi and Officer Qing found Su Hong and Zhou Xian in J City. Xing Xiao sorted out what had happened during this period of time and told Tang Yan. You mean that the person who framed Third Young Master this time is the murderer of Bai Sini's case? Xing Xiao took a sip of coffee and said elegantly, what do you think? It's because Xing Kai played a very important role in the middle that I can't help but suspect it. Then what countermeasures do you have now? The case of Third Young Master's escape should be a done deal. This must be defended through a lawyer. What are your plans? Xing Xiao hesitated for a moment before he suddenly raised his head and said to Tang Yan, I have a very bold idea. This case is already closely related to the Xing family. I can't continue to stand by and do nothing. Go ahead. The Xing family's matter will be handled according to the police's procedures. I will deal with the couple because this is different from Third Brother's escape. This is also the other party's brilliance. Regardless of whether the couple wants to kill the child or not, Third Brother's escape is a fact. The Xing family will be anxious because Xing Bowen is detained. At this time, Xing Kai or the person behind him should relax and appreciate their own results. So, at that time it will be a good time for the police to go to J City and get close to Su Hong or Zhou Xian. The other party will definitely not expect that we will choose that time to secretly investigate Bai Sini's case. And the sooner we solve Bai Sini's case, the sooner we can find the person behind Xing Kai. Tang Yan thought about it carefully and felt that he could take the risk. I will mention this idea to the chief, Tang Yan said cautiously. Tang Yan said cautiously, if we want to take action, we have to start wiring now and make long-term plans. I'll wait for your news. Xing Xiao knew Tang Yan's concerns. After all, this matter was not up to him. There was still the chief above him. although the chief had promised to give Tang Yan an explanation. Have you mentioned these thoughts to Xiao Qi? Xianxia shook his head. Officer Qing is a lesson. The fewer people who know about this, the better. Alright, thank you for breakfast, Zhou Xian. I'll be leaving first. Chi-Chi should be awake soon. Xianxia nodded slightly and watched Tang Yan leave the banyan courtyard. 10 minutes later, Mu Chi-Chi recovered. She came out of the bedroom and sat beside Xianxia. Good morning, Master Xiao. Xianxia glanced at him, amused. Did this mean that the little one had changed her pet name for him? What did you find from the surveillance cameras? I found a very important witness. I'll go look for him today. Mu Chi-Chi picked up the glass of milk and took a sip. She said calmly, last night I had to beg senior brother Long for a long time before he was willing to give me this person's address. He didn't reveal any other private information and even said that he was going to be fired. You told me before you went to bed last night that you suspected that the woman deliberately pushed the little girl. Yes, that's why I need this witness. Mu Chi-Chi snorted. She's such a young child and she's even her own niece. She's worse than an animal. Xianxia patted Mu Chi-Chi's head to comfort her. Then look carefully today. Last night, Su Che called and said that the little girl's grandfather came but was chased away by the couple. I want to meet him too. Chapter 776. What escape? Even if you want to judge an escape, you have to meet the conditions. A normal escape refers to a series of abnormal behaviors in order to avoid responsibility. For example, cleaning up the scene, moving the victim's body like third brother, going shopping as if nothing had happened and even went home normally. That's called ignorance. It's precisely because it's subjective that it's difficult to find evidence. After Xianxia said that, he picked up his coffee cup again. However, the lawyer knows how to deal with this matter. If you can prove that the other party deliberately framed you, it can also increase third brother's chances. I will definitely find it. Mu Chi-Chi said very seriously. Instead of saying that she was answering Xianxia, it was more accurate to say that she was secretly swearing to herself in her heart. Xianxia chuckled and did not bother about her anymore. After breakfast, Mu Chi-Chi went out. She wanted to meet the witness first, so she asked Xianxia for 2 bodyguards. The witness was a middle-aged man. At that time he was holding a baby in his arms. He was probably taking his grandson for a walk. Mu Chi-Chi spent the whole morning looking for him and told him that she wanted to meet him. At first the man was a little resistant, but in the end he agreed to meet Mu Chi-Chi. However, it was already afternoon and Mu Chi-Chi was hungry. After the man coaxed the child to sleep, he invited Mu Chi-Chi to the living room. Who are you? Why do you want to see me? There was a car accident last night. I believe you still remember it, right? Mu Chi-Chi tried her best to sound humble. Hello, I really didn't mean to pry into your privacy. I really didn't want to. I won't disturb you again in the future. It's like this. I just want to ask if you saw the whole process. You mean there was a hit-and-run incident last night? You were standing behind the mother and daughter, weren't you? Uncle, did you see anything unusual? Mu Chi-Chi went straight to the point, hoping that the man could help her recall. That woman suddenly brought the child to the sidewalk and pushed me behind. I was holding my grandson, so I couldn't argue with her. I didn't know what she was trying to do in a hurry. I didn't notice anything else, but I noticed that the woman kept pushing the little girl. Did you see it clearly? It was so close. How could I be wrong? The man snorted. That little girl is sweating all over. She looks uncomfortable and her face is as white as a sheet of paper. Moreover, it's been a few days. I've seen her in the vicinity, but I don't see her on normal days. I don't know what she's doing on the streets. The old man had a grandson, so he loved his child very much, but he also hated that woman very much. That little girl is really pitiful. Uncle, would you be willing to step forward and prove the driver's innocence? Hearing that Zhou Xian was going to step forward, the middle-aged man hesitated. I also have a grandson. I don't want anyone to take revenge on me, so I'm sorry. In fact, Mu Chi-Chi had expected such an outcome. However, this at least proved that her guess was right. That woman had pushed Xiao Zhiyu. It's all right. Sorry to bother you today. Mu Chi-Chi immediately expressed her understanding. The one who had the accident was my third brother. He didn't know that he had bumped into the child and now he's blaming himself. If it was an accident, we would have left this matter to the police. We wouldn't have come to you, but the child's aunt clearly pushed the child. That's why I came to you. To be honest, the child has congenital leukemia and lives with his uncle and aunt. However, this couple doesn't treat the child sincerely. They only agreed to take the child over for the sake of their parents' house. However, they also have children of their own. How could they be willing to raise a sickly child? After hearing Muchichi's words, the man understood, but he did not say anything. When Muchichi was about to leave the house, he stopped Muchichi and said, "Wait, I'll leave you my number. If there's a need, ask the police to look for me." After Muchichi heard this, she quickly bowed. "Thank you. Thank you so much. We all have children and grandchildren. We also have compassion." The man sighed and handed the note with his number to Muchichi. Muchichi looked at him gratefully and left. Although she had been a forensic assistant for a long time and knew that there were many people in this world who were worse than ghosts, she could not give up her trust in others such as this uncle. After that, Muchichi went to the hospital and saw Suche. Last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, the child's grandfather came to the hospital with a cane. He wanted to see his granddaughter, but he was chased out by that woman. I asked the nurse to settle the old man in a nearby hotel. You'll see him later. Also, there's nothing unusual in the intensive care unit. They probably haven't found a chance to do anything yet. You have to go back to Xiaoxiao's side later. This child is really worrying. Muchichi sighed because she guessed that the other party would definitely think of a way to take the child's life. If there was no one watching, it would be really hard to guard against. So once we find evidence to prove that there's something wrong with the couple, we must call the police immediately. Suche reminded her. Last night I looked for the head nurse and told her the basic situation. She said that she would arrange for reliable nurses today. Wait a moment, I'll tell you who the two people are. Other than them, there's something wrong with the others. Reliable. Muchichi gave Suche a thumbs up. Now I'll take you to the hotel. Then I'll return to Zhongting. Muchichi and Suche were about to leave the hospital, but they almost bumped into Xiao Jiyu's aunt. Muchichi felt disgusted when she saw this woman, so she avoided her and left through another door of the hospital with Suche. After arriving at the hotel, the waiter brought Muchichi and Suche into the old man's room. For some reason, when she saw the old man's emaciated appearance, she suddenly couldn't help but tear up. Are you? I want to see my Jiuyu. Grandpa, we want to help Jiuyu. Muchichi immediately made her position clear and gestured to Suche. Wait for me outside the door. Suche nodded. Be careful. Muchichi looked at the old man and felt bitter. Grandpa, you've heard about Jiyu's car accident, right? When the old man heard about the child's car accident, he immediately started crying. If it weren't for the fact that I can't move, I wouldn't have given Xiao Jiyu to those two beasts. Grandpa, how do Jiyu's uncle and aunt treat her? Chapter 777. Muchichi knew that after all, the couple was the old grandpa's family. If she wanted to get more inside information from him, she had to show her identity and stance. Therefore, after spending some time, Muchichi told the old grandpa about her identity, her purpose, and everything she knew so far. The old grandpa listened to Muchichi in silence, and in the end, tears streamed down his face. I really didn't know that those animals would do such an inhumane thing again. It's all our fault. We don't have other children. Otherwise, why would we send Jiuyu away? Little girl, what do you want to know? I'll tell you everything I know. Other than this time, did the couple think of any other way to deal with Xiao Jiuyu? Muchichi asked because she wanted to find out the couple's motive as much as possible. Yes. The old grandpa answered without thinking and reached out to wipe his tears. A few months ago, the two of them wanted to sell Xiao Jiuyu. I told them that Xiao Jiuyu was seriously ill, so the buyer gave up on the idea of buying the child. Then can you still remember their information? Even if it's just a name or a phone number. Yes, I can tell you. Quickly call the police to catch those scumbags who kidnapped the child. Muchichi looked into the old man's eyes. His wrinkled eyes were filled with helplessness and helplessness. I will definitely let you reunite with Xiao Jiuyu. No matter what you want us to identify, as long as my old bones can still move, I will definitely help you. Although they had learned about the vicious actions of the scumbag couple from various aspects, they still lacked the most crucial and direct evidence. It would be even better if they could find their accounts in illegal income. We also want to avenge my brother, so Grandpa, we will do our best. Moreover, my brother also said that if Jieyu can get out of danger, he will help her treat her illness and support her until she grows up. After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, the old grandpa trembled violently. In the end, he knelt in front of Mu Qiqi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Grandpa, get up quickly. Mu Qiqi quickly helped him up. You must take care of your health during this period of time. I will definitely. Mu Qiqi could not bear to see the old man leave, so she asked Su Che to send him off. You can help me now, but you can't help me forever. I'll help as much as I can. Mu Qiqi sighed. After dissecting corpses for a long time, I've realized something. That is to cherish life crazily. Although it's normal to be old, weak, sick, and disabled, you still have to live to see the day when your fate changes. If you die, there's nothing left. You can't even take revenge. Su Che did not say anything. He followed Mu Qiqi's instructions and sent the old man back to his home. His wife was still lying on the bed, unable to take care of herself. Su Che did not say anything. He quietly left some money for the two old men and quietly left. The preciousness of life could only be experienced by those who truly had feelings. Mu Qiqi got the name and contact information of the buyer who wanted to buy Xiao Jiyu from the old man and sent it to senior brother Long. She wanted to know if this person had a criminal record. After being verified by senior brother Long, the two of them were currently serving their sentences in prison. As long as they brought him to trial, they would be able to investigate this case. But even so, even if they found these things, they were still lacking. They were lacking the most crucial evidence. Mu Qiqi collected these things. After carefully organizing them, she brought the information back to Zhongting. In fact, relying on these, especially the case where they wanted to sell Jiuyu, she could detain these two scumbags. However, she still wanted to find the most crucial evidence. This way she could hit the nail on the head and not give the other party any chance to resist. Let me see the results of your hard work without even going to class. Xianxia put down the documents beside him and beckoned Mu Qiqi to his side. I've found the witness and the motive for the murder, but I'm still lacking the most direct evidence. Mu Qiqi was a little depressed. Xianxia looked at the information she had organized and kept stroking her hair. Enough, it's enough. What's enough? Mu Qiqi looked at Xianxia in surprise. Because I've already found the evidence you want for you. Xianxia smiled. Are you serious? Yes. Xianxia pulled her to sit on his lap. Since they were manipulated by someone, they must have received some benefits. It's too obvious to find the bank account, so cash transactions are the safest way. So, I guess that the two of them hid the money, so I found the neighbors and spread the rumor that they found the cash. When the couple heard it, they thought that their money had been taken away. They panicked and immediately went to the place where they hid the money to confirm, so they were exposed. After Mu Qiqi heard this, her gaze became even more surprised. When did you arrange this? Why didn't I know? Also, how do you know that they won't hide the money at home? Before you went to bed last night, Xianxia answered. As for why they didn't hide the money at home, it's because they're still a little afraid of the police. If the money is found at home, they'll be caught red-handed. If it's somewhere else, they can still deny it to the death. Xianxia answered, which was when he saw the couple deliberately waiting for Xing Bowen in the surveillance footage. Then how did you, after being spread by others, do you think someone would deliberately dig for the treasure? This couple values money as much as their life. After weighing the pros and cons, where do you think they will move the money? They're afraid of being found by others, so they'll return home. Now that the police are there, they'll really be caught red-handed. Mu Qiqi suddenly became excited. Xiao, I'm deeply impressed by your brain. If you know that you're convinced, then be obedient, Mu Qiqi hugged the man's neck, her heart full of admiration. There's one more thing I want to ask you. Mu Qiqi stood up with a serious expression. No matter how I look at it, I feel that the couple doesn't want Xiao Jiyu to live. So I've thought of a way. Can we switch Xiao Jiyu out and arrange for her to be in another safe ward? It was very sad to see Xiao Jiyu's grandfather in the morning. I'll get Su Che to arrange it. Xianxia agreed to the little one's request. That's about it. We can call the police. There's no hurry. Tonight, the couple will meet the reporters and accept an interview. At that time, we'll give them a big gift. It can be considered a counterattack to the person behind them. Chapter 778. I know you want to care, but now you're not capable enough. You have to train slowly, okay? Wuxia looked at Xing Zhao's handsome face and almost couldn't help but have a nosebleed. Yes, I'll learn obediently. Since she was 17, she had been influenced by this man and educated by him. But even after a few years, she had only learned a little of this man's skills. Then I'll focus on watching the show tonight. Xianxia nodded and put down the little one. He let her go to the side to read or go back to school to apologize. Wuxia thought that she couldn't focus on her classes before the scumbags were brought to justice. So she stayed in Zhongting's office and accompanied Xianxia until it was time to get off work. On the other hand, Xing Bowen had also heard that the couple was going to be interviewed. He also understood that the two of them had bad intentions. The content of the interview would definitely damage Huang Yao's reputation once again. Of course, the Public Relations Department of Huang Yao had also arranged a briefing about this incident. Tomorrow morning he would personally appear to apologize. However, in the past 2 days he had been put in a difficult position by the board of directors. However, if this was what Xing Kai wanted to achieve, then he might have to disappoint him. After all, although his ability was mediocre among his brothers, he was the most resilient. He was completely unlike Xing Kai, who couldn't stand the stimulation. He could still withstand this bit of pressure. However, he didn't expect to see Wuxia at the entrance of Huang Yao when he left the company with Ren Yufei after work. The couple looked at each other and quickly went up to her. Why are you here? I'm not the only one. Someone is here too. Wuxia gestured for him to look outside, but she saw that Xianxia was staying in the car. He didn't want to cause a commotion. We told the old man that we're going to the Xing family for dinner, so we came to pick you up on the way. Since you're here, why don't you go up? Looking at your new products, I can't help but sigh. I'm getting further and further away from these things. I don't have the fortune to enjoy them. Wuxia pouted. Get in the car. Xing Bowen drove in front while Ren Yufei followed behind Wuxia. She looked like she wanted to say something but hesitated. Xiaoqi, third sister-in-law? I really can't help with your third brother's matter. I'll have to trouble you guys for everything. Ren Yufei had been blaming herself for the past 2 days because she could only watch helplessly and worry. Wuxia turned around and looked at her for a moment. Then she said, I told third brother not only to protect your body but also your heart. Seems that he is still a blockhead. He actually gave you the time to let your imagination run wild. Don't worry, you are third brother's wife, no one will blame you. Not to mention you, even the old man can't help. Isn't he also anxious? Could it be that he and third brother aren't close? After hearing this, Ren Yufei burst out laughing. Only this girl was quirky and likable. Of course, with her comfort, Ren Yufei also heaved a sigh of relief. Indeed, there were some things that she could not help with, but it did not mean that she was worthless. She could play a role in other places, so why should she worry about it? Soon Xing Bowen brought the car over. The two women got into their respective men's cars. However, along the way, Xing Bowen noticed that his wife's expression was much more relaxed. Did you chat with Chi-Chi just now? Yes, I'm in a better mood. Because of this, Xing Bowen was unhappy. So my comfort is so useless. I was just too worried, Ren Yufei explained. I'm sorry, I was too stubborn. I won't do it in the future. Xing Bowen snorted, but he was not really angry. Soon, the four of them entered the Xing family's iron gate. Wuxia stood in front of the door and had a lot of thoughts. I said before that I would never step into this house again, but I didn't expect that I would slap myself in the face so many times. In the past, everyone recognized eighth brother as the person grandpa doted on the most, but now how can the old man leave you? Speaking of this, Wuxia was a little proud. Since you've said so, I'll reluctantly do it. It had been a long time since the old man had seen Wuxia. Although he always said that the girl was annoying and smart like a monkey, when he really saw her, his eyes were filled with joy. Originally, the atmosphere in the Xing family should have been heavy because of Xing Bowen's matter. However, because of Wuxia's appearance, the old man was even happier and excited than before. These days, sixth brother no longer looked for trouble with Xing Xiao and Wuxia. However, he was not used to the way the old man doted on Muchichi, so he poured cold water on him. Grandpa, I'm afraid you don't know. Tonight, that couple will be interviewed by the reporters. In other words, he didn't have to be so happy. So be it. We won't shirk our responsibilities. Don't tell me that I still need to kneel and cry for them. Old Master Xing snorted. Everyone, let's eat. There's a good show to watch at 7 o'clock in the evening. Xiao and I didn't come here for this meal. We came here to have some fun with you. Muchichi picked up her bowl and chopsticks, completely unruly. You only know how to be mysterious. Hearing Sixth Brother's muttering, Muchichi tilted her head to look at him and said, I also know how to dissect a corpse and draw a chevron on a person's chest. Sixth Brother's expression changed as he thought about it. He ran straight to the bathroom. In the past, if the old man had heard this, he would have thrown Muchichi out of the Xing family. Now he didn't care at all. His old face was full of joy. See, ignore him. No one knew what kind of good show was about to unfold in the hospital. The Xing family was probably still waiting for another storm. So, if Muchichi hadn't come, who knew how depressing this meal would have been? 7 o'clock in the evening. The news reporters went to the hospital to interview the victims of the car accident. They were Juyu's parents in name, but in reality they were her uncle and aunt. The two of them stood in front of Xiao Juyu's ward. The woman kept crying with red eyes. How is the child's condition from the accident until now? What did Huang Yao say? The reporters asked through their microphones. The child is very unstable. After she was hit, she was still resuscitated once. If the child left, I wouldn't want to live either. As for that unscrupulous company, they didn't care about it. Not only did they not apologize and compensate us, but they even came to the hospital yesterday to question us. Why was the child resuscitated again? Were we trying to extort money from them? I really don't understand why the police haven't arrested such an unscrupulous company. Chapter 779. Take responsibility. Hitting a child and running away, that's fleeing, that's a crime. If they were willing to take responsibility, they wouldn't have run away after the accident. The woman said in a shrill voice. But there are also rumors that Huang Yao has already sent someone over to deal with the compensation. It was you who refused to communicate with the other party. My daughter's life is worth $1,000. I'm not doing this for money. Let me tell you, I don't want a single cent. I just want the person who hurt my daughter to pay the price and be punished by the law. So I've already found a lawyer. I won't let the murderer who hurt my daughter get away with it. The reporters heard the voice of the person in question and felt that she was a great mother. She could give up everything as long as she could get justice for the child. It was also because of this that the outside world's hatred for Huang Yao was even stronger. Why couldn't a big company shoulder the responsibility that it should? It was the first time the reporters had seen this woman, so they were deceived. However, the nurses in the hospital knew what the couple looked like. So, when they heard the interview when they passed by, they just wanted to roll their eyes to the sky. Who on earth didn't want the little girl to live? The people of Huang Yao had done everything they wanted to do, but this woman? She was mean and unkind. When she was taking care of the child, she disappeared. When she was about to go on television, she ran faster than anyone else. It was because of this interview that the outside world was scolding Huang Yao. Because it involved a child, many celebrities also came to participate in the scolding war and crusade against Huang Yao. They had no corporate spirit at all. I swear here that I won't accept any financial help. I only hope that the guilty will be punished. I hope that everyone can be my witness. What a strong and great mother. This woman's acting skills were almost comparable to a movie queen's. However, before the interview was really over, a group of police officers appeared in the corridor of the hospital. Moreover, in front of the reporters' cameras, they walked directly in front of the woman and took out the arrest warrant. The police suspect that you are related to a murder case. Now please come back with us to the police station to cooperate with the investigation. The reporters and the couple were stunned on the spot. Officer, you must have made a mistake. If you don't arrest the driver, why are you arresting us, the victim? Stop acting here. The police already have sufficient evidence and will release it to the public later. The leading police officer had his subordinates take out handcuffs and officially arrest the couple. Such a situation caught the reporter off guard. So before the police left, the reporter quickly chased after them. Officer, can you reveal more information? Why is the victim's family being arrested instead? I'm sorry, we can't do that right now. The police will inform us later. It's not what you think. Please investigate the facts before reporting. Don't wrongly accuse innocent people. After saying that, the police officers got into the car and left. The reporters who were left behind were at a loss. However, the interview still had to continue, so the reporters went to ask some doctors and nurses in the hospital. Some of the doctors said that they did not know anything, but the nurse who was taking care of Zhou Xian told the reporters, "It's not what that woman said." On the night of the girl's accident, the person in charge of Huang Yao came over to express his condolences. He brought the insurance commissioner and a lawyer to ask the girl's family what help they needed. It was that woman who was unwilling to communicate and chased them out. Of course, it's understandable that she was angry in that situation. But the key is that the child is seriously ill and has been receiving treatment in our hospital. She wasn't allowed to leave the hospital in the first place. She wanted to forcefully take the child out. Now that something has happened to the child, aren't you responsible? That woman kept saying that she didn't accept Huang Yao's help, but from the moment the child was admitted to the hospital, it was Huang Yao who settled the accounts. There are records in the hospital and we can find out who is responsible for the various expenses. This is the first time I've seen such a person lying through her teeth. The nurse was very ashamed of the couple's actions. The reporter's expression was a little ugly. She had almost cried for that great mother just now, but she did not expect to be slapped in the face in just a few seconds. Also, these aren't the child's parents. The child's parents died early. These are the child's uncle and aunt. So she's not their biological daughter. Of course not. The nurse was young and stubborn. She had a hint of abhorrence of evil. If it were a senior who was interviewed, he would definitely keep his mouth shut for fear of being held accountable by the hospital. But she was not afraid. In this world, there had to be someone who dared to speak the truth. But no one knew why the victim's family was taken away by the police in the middle of the interview. This matter had been exaggerated and it was entirely Huang Yao's fault. But now that the victim's family was taken away, the case suddenly became confusing. In the end, the reporter concluded the interview. From the current information, it seems that there has been a reversal. We have also interviewed the traffic police in charge. The police told us that because it involved a hit and run, the accident certificate will only be released within 10 working days. But why the victim's family was taken away by the police is still an unanswered question. But the police have already indicated that they will announce the progress of the case as soon as possible. So we can only continue to wait. Then the scene of the news changed. Grandpa Xing looked at Xing Bowen and then at Mu Qiqi. What was going on? Aren't you going to give me an answer? Xing Bowen also looked at Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao. He really did not know about this matter. At that time he went to deal with the lawyer and left the rest to Mu Qiqi. He did not expect things to be handled so quickly. Qiqi, what exactly is going on? Xing Bowen also asked Mu Qiqi. It's like what you saw. Mu Qiqi smiled and said, I just ran errands and collected some witnesses. Xiao Xiao used his brain and got the most important evidence. That couple deliberately waited for you for a few days wanting to frame you. They wanted to get rid of the burden while extorting money. They are inhumane. Mu Qiqi said with a smile. I see. Xing Bowen nodded, then pointed at himself and said, It seems that for the rest of my life, I will have to work like a horse for the two of you. Don't be happy too early. Although the couple has been arrested, the fact that you escaped still can't be washed away. Xiao Xiao said that he has already found you an authoritative lawyer in this area. When the time comes, you will have a tough battle to fight. With you guys around, what do I have to be afraid of? Even if there's really no way to redeem it, I will accept it. Does that sound like something a descendant of the Xing family would say? Grandpa Xing snorted. Grandpa, I'm just expressing that I have no regrets. With Xiao Xiao around, you won't have to go to jail. Chapter 780. In the police station, the couple was locked up in 2 separate interrogation rooms. At the beginning, their attitude was extremely arrogant. What right do you have to arrest us? We are the victims. Did you take the other party's money? I'm telling you, let us go immediately. We are innocent. We are the victims. Victims. The interrogating police officer took the information and entered the interrogation room. He sat down in front of the woman. If I were you, I would immediately take back my words and cut off my own tongue. What law did we break? Don't you know what law you broke? What did you do on November 27th last year? Do you need us to recall it for you? The interrogating police officer tapped his fingers on the table and asked. Last year. The woman muttered to herself. Then she suddenly came to a realization. It seems that you've remembered. Very well. Jean in prison have already confessed to your deal. It's useless for you to deny it. This is only one of your crimes. Now let's count your second crime, intentional homicide. Hearing the words intentional homicide, the woman immediately went limp and denied. There's no such thing. I didn't kill anyone. Is that so? The interrogating police officer printed a few key points in the surveillance video into pictures and held them up for the woman to see. After processing by the criminal investigators, these pictures have been magnified countless times and are high definition and uncensored. What were you doing when you crossed the road? Tell me. The woman turned her head and did not dare to look at the pictures. Let me tell you the cruel truth. You pushed your niece because you knew whose car she was going to hit. The police checked the surveillance footage for the past 10 days and found that you had been waiting at that section of the road. You saw that they had money and wanted to extort money from them, right? The woman lowered her head and did not dare to speak. Her palms and forehead were covered in cold sweat. It doesn't matter if you still don't confess. Anyway, the police have already found the cash you obtained from your home. The witness and material evidence are all there. The fact that you intended to murder your niece can't be denied. You continue to bear the blame. Your husband has already confessed. When the time comes, the court will give you a lighter sentence. As for you, just keep silent. Don't say a word until you die. After saying that, the interrogating police officer got up from his seat as if he did not care about the woman's confession. Because the final result would be the same. But this woman was afraid. Especially after hearing that her husband had confessed, this woman was terrified to the extreme. Finally, she could only say, "Officer, I'll confess. I'll confess everything." In fact, a woman's mentality was naturally more fragile than a man's. It was easy to break through. The man next door was still keeping his mouth shut. It didn't matter. As long as one side confessed, everything would be fine. However, the interrogation lasted until 11 o'clock at night. The police reaped a bountiful harvest and set out overnight to arrest the person who paid for the murder. Xiao, do you think that the police will be able to trace back to Xingkai? On the way back to the banyan courtyard, Mu Qiqi asked Xiao. Xiao shook his head and said with certainty, "Of course not. The person behind Xingkai is not someone who only knows how to do things. All he needs to do is find someone to take the blame. He can just say that he has a grudge against Huang Yao and the Xing family and everything will be clear." The Xing family has stirred up so much trouble and you're just letting Xingkai watch the show? Not necessarily. Xiao said with a hidden meaning. The person behind Xingkai was indeed cautious and meticulous in his work. He had arranged everything into a perfect circle. His hands, on the other hand, were clean. However, don't forget about Bai Sini's case. Since he had made the Xing family unhappy, he had to return the favor no matter what. Only then would he let the other party know that he was not to be trifled with. You still have a backup plan, right? No, I can only leave the rest to the lawyer. Xiao would not tell Mu Qiqi about the operation he had planned with Tang Yan because it was too dangerous. Mu Qiqi obediently did not ask further. We've already done what we can. Next it's up to the lawyer. This couple has been arrested. I've fulfilled my promise to Grandpa and allowed him to reunite with Xiao Jiyu. Although the couple had been arrested, the child was not out of danger yet and had to stay in the hospital. However, her grandparents could be visited up close. The next day the police arrived at Huang Yao. Rin Yufei was very nervous when she saw the police, but Sheng Bowen smiled at her. "Don't worry, they're not here to arrest me. You're really, invite them in and then arrange for tea." The reason why the police came to Huang Yao was because the mastermind that the couple had confessed to was a manager who had been fired from Huang Yao. Because he had always hated Sheng Bowen, he had planned such an incident. His goal was to send Sheng Bowen to prison. Zhou Xian, the police have found out all the facts and will disclose the whole story of the case as soon as possible to clear your name. However, you still have to face investigation for escaping. I understand. Xing Bowen nodded. Regardless of whether the couple had framed him or not, he had hurt the child after all. Moreover, so many people had seen him drive away. It was not something that he could clear up with just a few words. What a crazy couple. No matter what, I'll accept your investigation at any time, Xing Bowen said frankly. Since that's the case, our mission is complete. Thank you for your hard work. Xing Bowen stood up and shook hands with them. After the police went to Huang Yao, they announced the whole story of the case and prepared to answer the public's doubts. Why did they take the couple away from the reporters last night? According to the police report, the whole thing was a trap planned by the couple. On one hand, they wanted to blackmail Huang Yao, and on the other hand, they wanted to get rid of the burden of the child. During the interview last night, they had been so confident. But in the end? In vain. I shed tears for this woman. Thought she was strong and great. I didn't expect to be disgusted so quickly. She's really not a good person. I finally figured it out. The child has leukemia, so the couple tried every means possible to kill the child and extort a sum of money. What a good plan. I didn't expect there to be such a vicious person in this world. It's really an eye-opener for us. F*C. The president of Huang Yao must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck to be targeted by this couple and even succeeded in their scheme. Chapter 781. The television news reported about Xing Bowen's car accident one after another, and the voices of the outside world against Huang Yao became much quieter. Seeing that Xing Xiao and the others had easily solved Huang Yao's problem, Xing Kai felt rather uncomfortable. For some reason, Xing Bowen's ability was mediocre. Why could he always turn misfortune into fortune? It was as if everyone was rushing to help him solve his problems. What was this? In the past, he had worked so hard for Huang Yao and his grandfather. He could give up anything, but in the end? Now it was like a complete joke. Perhaps the Xing family had never treated him as a member of their family. Because of this, Xing Kai called Jin Bo. His tone was a little unconvinced. Godfather, Xing Bowen is fine. It's still unknown whether he's fine or not. Why are you so impatient? Jin Bo patiently educated him. But, just wait and see, child. The best part is yet to come. You have to know that the lawyer Xing Xiao hired from abroad to defend Xing Bowen is my student. After he arrived in Jianchuan last night, he called me. After Xing Kai heard this, he realized something and quickly said to Jin Bo, "If that's the case, then I'll have to trouble you to pay attention to this matter, Godfather. I said that I'll give my godson a big gift. I won't let you down." This way Xing Kai was relieved. No matter how much Xing Xiao planned, he would never have expected that he would be sending a sheep into a tiger's den by hiring a lawyer for Xing Bowen. If Xing Bowen found out about this in the future, would he hate Xing Xiao to the bone? The next afternoon, Xing Xiao arranged to meet the lawyer. As the lawyer had handled many cases similar to Xing Bowen's, he was very experienced in such cases. Xing Xiao arranged lunch near Zhongting. It seemed like he wanted to personally discuss the case with the lawyer, but in fact he did not need to understand how a lawyer could win a case. He had spent money to hire someone to do the most professional thing. He did not need to do it himself. The reason why he insisted on meeting this lawyer was because he had to confirm that he could be trusted. After Mu Qiqi heard about it, she also wanted to meet this person. So she ran out during the school lunch break and went straight to the restaurant Xing Xiao had arranged. He was 27 or 28 years old. He was good-looking and had a face that girls liked. He was also very fashionable. He was wearing a dark green suit and looked very pleasing to the eye. When Xing Xiao saw Mu Qiqi appear, he hooked his finger at her. Mu Qiqi conveniently sat beside him, picked up his coffee cup and started drinking without any distinction between them. "I ran all the way here. Forgive me." Xing Xiao took the opportunity to remove a leaf from Mu Qiqi's head. The two of them were very intimate, and it was obvious that they couldn't bear to be apart. Then the waiter filled Mu Qiqi's bowl and chopsticks. "Hello, Mr. Lawyer." "Hello." The lawyer sitting opposite them replied with a smile. "This is my wife. Don't mind her, Lawyer Shin. She just likes to join in the fun." Xing Xiao finished the introduction in a few words, then gestured for Muchichi to focus on eating and not interrupt. This is my wife. Don't mind her, Lawyer Shin. She just likes to join in the fun. Xianxia introduced her in a few words and gestured for Muchichi to focus on eating and not interrupt. Mrs. Xing is a famous person in Jianchuan. Seeing you today, you're indeed impressive, Lawyer Shin said in a gentlemanly manner. Of course, his words aroused Muchichi's interest. I didn't know I was so famous. Of course, the other party might not have noticed. I've heard a lot of stories. Didn't you want to talk about third brother? How's the conversation going? Muchichi quickly changed the topic. Just as she was about to continue, someone's face changed again. I want to look at the information in detail and the police's accident report, so we can't come to any conclusion now, Lawyer Shin answered Muchichi naturally. Muchichi glanced at him and then at Xianxia. So she had come for nothing? Don't worry, Mrs. Sheng. Since I've taken over this case, I'll definitely give you a satisfactory answer. It was easy for smart people to speak. The three of them had lunch together happily. Then Lawyer Shin left because of other cases. Is it really reliable to hand third brother's case to him? Muchichi asked Xianxia as she watched him leave. There's no other suitable candidate at the moment. I trust the Xing family's lawyer more. Muchichi only said this sentence. It seemed to be unintentional, but Xianxia heard it. Since you've already arranged this matter, I'll also apply for leave from you. The school has organized a spring outing. We'll set off tomorrow morning. It'll be 2 days and 1 night. Tomorrow night you'll have to be alone in your room. What kind of event? Where will it be held? It's at the nearby resort. I didn't want to go at first, but the dean did me a big favor for third brother's matter. I can't not participate in every event every year, so I could only agree. Xianxia wanted to take care of all the expenses for Muchichi's team in one go, but after thinking about it he didn't do so. Don't you have class in the afternoon? Aren't you in a hurry? Muchichi looked at the time and quickly left. There's no time. We'll talk tonight. With this thing by her side, it really alleviated a lot of the boredom in her life. But not long after the two of them left, a black car drove out of the alley. The person in the car was controlling the steering wheel while making a phone call. I've met him. You don't have to worry, teacher. I know what to do. It was said that Xianxia loved to play games. Since that was the case, let's see if he had a chance of winning this round. Could he drag Xing Bowen, who already had half a leg in prison, out of the mess? It was already evening. Muchichi returned home from school and saw that Mama Xing and Xianxia had returned from abroad. It seemed that the world of the two of them was coming to an end. Xiaoqi, come quickly. Mommy brought you a gift from abroad. Mama Xing took out a small box from her room as if she was presenting a treasure. See if you like it. Muchichi opened it and found that it was a set of dissection knives. Mama Xing was probably the only one who would give her daughter-in-law knives. However, Muchichi would like Mama Xing. Thank you, Mommy. I'll use it well. Muchichi touched it lovingly. It was really a good thing. After all, she didn't lack anything. That was why Mama Xing would remember what she needed the most. I've heard about third brother's matter. Is it solved now? Muchichi shook her head. I'm still waiting for the accident liability report. It's also hard on that child. She encountered all kinds of bad luck. You and eighth brother must help her. Why are you back so soon? Why didn't you play for a few more days? I haven't had enough alone time with this thing. Chapter 782. Don't be heartless. We came back in a hurry because we saw the news about third brother. Your father still can't let go of Huang Yao. Mama Xing sat on the sofa. Have you found a lawyer for third brother? Xiao found an authoritative expert in this area. Muchichi quickly answered. Then we're relieved. But who is the crazy person behind this? We're still investigating, Muchichi answered Mama Xing. This matter was definitely related to Xing Kai, but it was not Xing Kai's style of doing things at all. So they wanted to know who the master was after Xing Kai was killed. That was why they wanted to know who the master was after Xing Kai was killed. Although Bai Sini's case was getting further and further away, Muchichi could still think of that cold body. She could not get it out of her mind. At night after dinner, Muchichi saw that Xianxia had called Xing Bowen, so she walked to his desk. Sure enough, she saw Lawyer Shen's resume on his desk. Mu Qiqi flipped through a few pages and sighed in her heart. It was really rich and exciting. How did he achieve such a high winning rate at such a young age? Could he be a genius? From the looks of it, it should be very easy for third brother's case to be in his hands. Xianxia turned around and saw Mu Qiqi sitting in his seat. He pulled her up and placed her on his lap. Since you've seen it, are you relieved? What's there to be worried about when it's you? Mu Qiqi expressed her highest trust in Xianxia. I'll leave early tomorrow morning. Let's rest early tonight? You just want to rest early? Xianxia pinched her chin and asked with a faint smile. Just tell me if you want it or not. Mu Qiqi admitted defeat. It seemed that no matter how long it had been, she had never been teased by this man. Whenever he teased her, her face would turn red and her mind would go blank. What do you want? Forget it, I'm going to take a shower. Mu Qiqi was also angry and got up from Xianxiao's body. However, before she could take 2 steps, the man picked her up. Is it so difficult to say that you want me? Do you think women are like you men? Shameless. Then you still dare to think about it. It's not against the law to think about it, Mu Qiqi thought to herself. As it was a big gift for Xing Kai, Jin Bo wanted Xing Kai and Lawyer Shen to get to know each other. He also wanted Xing Kai to arrange for Lawyer Shen's food, clothing, housing and transportation. Xing Kai knew that this was a great Buddha who could make him happy. So at first glance he politely and thoughtfully said to him, I've already arranged a 5-star hotel for you, Lawyer Shen. I've also arranged a car for you. If you need anything else, just let me know. I only live in a villa and I can't stand the noise. My car doesn't need to be too good. I can drive a Phantom, but I'm afraid of being lonely at night, so it's best to arrange for a beauty to accompany me. As for other requests, I haven't thought of them yet. You go ahead and arrange it. When Xing Kai heard this, his tone immediately became a little uncomfortable. Lawyer Shen, don't tell me that Jianchuan can't even provide me with these things. If that's the case, I might as well go back to America. What are you talking about? Since it's Lawyer Shen's request, of course I will try my best to satisfy it. Xing Kai looked perfunctory on the surface, but in fact he had already despised the other party 1,000 times in his heart. He's just a lawyer. What's so great about him? Yet he asked for the same treatment as the president. Was Godfather really not joking with him? If it weren't for my teacher's request, I wouldn't have wasted this time at all. So Xiao Xing, you don't have to feel wronged. Do you still want the 3rd young master of the Xing family, the person in charge of Huang Yao, to be in prison? If you want it, you'd better listen to me. What could Xing Kai say? He could only do as he was told. I'm also asking for help. Xiao Xing of Zhongting has already arranged for an international chef to welcome me. Do you know that you're already in slow motion? Xing Kai endured it silently because the other party was here to help. As long as he thought that Xing Bowen was about to go to prison, his mood seemed to be a little better. Sometimes I really wonder how you and Xing Xiao became brothers. However, it's also possible that I misjudged Xing Xiao's ability. Maybe he's just a facade? This little genius lawyer seemed to be fully confident in his own abilities. Although Xing Kai was unhappy, he still followed the other party's request and arranged for a big villa and a celebrity to accompany him. What the hell? The next day Mu Qiqi woke up early. It was the first time she saw Xing Xiao sleeping soundly. So she leaned on the bed and kissed his forehead. This man was so charming even when he was asleep. Then she packed her things and went to the university. This time the entire forensic science faculty was mobilized. In fact, there were activities on usual days, but Mu Qiqi had never participated in them. So her appearance this time surprised the forensic science faculty. The activity was arranged at a resort on the outskirts of Jianchuan. It was near the seaside with beautiful scenery and was suitable for a group trip. However, Mu Qiqi felt a little awkward sitting in the car. If Feng Shanshan was still here, she would still have a companion. But now, she did not even have someone to talk to. So she decided to cover her head and sleep. But soon someone poked her elbow. Qiqi, it's a long journey. Why don't you tell us a few cases to broaden our horizons? Now you're the only one in the faculty who has seen those legendary giant views. Tell us so that we'll be mentally prepared. Mu Qiqi opened her eyes and felt bored, so she said, no matter how much mental preparation you do, You'll still vomit when you see it because the smell is too charming. You've been involved in so many cases, especially the case where teenagers killed each other. It was too exciting. Tell us about the process. I've almost forgotten about that case. I only remember Baisini's case now, Muchichi replied softly. No matter how bad that case was, it could still be solved, but Baisini's injustice. Didn't that close the case as suicide? Aya, it's broad daylight. Can you guys not talk about these creepy things? Let's talk about some gossip. For example, the recently popular talent show star was photographed entering a certain villa last night and doing something indescribable with a mysterious man. It's a pity that the paparazzi didn't take a picture of this man's face. Otherwise, it would definitely prove that he's a handsome man. The group of people passed the photo around and it soon reached Muchichi's hands. Muchichi was naturally not interested in such things. She only glanced at it. Chapter 783. Soon the group arrived at the entrance of the resort. Muchichi got out of the car and the boys in the faculty helped carry the girls' luggage. At that moment, a tall and thin boy walked up to Muchichi and said mysteriously to her, "You can't find out." But Muchichi did not understand what he meant. Baisini's case. With that he carried his luggage and quickly walked to the front of the crowd, leaving Muchichi frowning and feeling a little puzzled. Then the students checked in. Muchichi and a forthright girl were assigned to a room. When checking in, Muchichi asked the girl, "Xingnan, what's the name of the tall and thin boy in front, the one in the blue shirt?" "You mean Stallion? Li Kongwen, you don't even know this?" The girl looked at her in surprise. They had been classmates for 1 or 2 years. As expected, other than Xianxia, she only had eyes for corpses. Muchichi thought about it and felt that it was necessary to have a chat with him. Therefore, when it was lunchtime, Muchichi found him in the resort's buffet restaurant and followed behind him. "Can we talk for a while?" Li Kongwen turned to look at Muchichi, then at the students around him. He said indifferently, "I don't want others to misunderstand. I just want to figure out what you meant by what you said this morning. I don't mean anything special. Don't continue investigating Baisini's case. It won't do you any good." With that he quickly left Muchichi's line of sight. Muchichi thought to herself he had already said this much. How could he have no other meaning? Therefore, after choosing the dishes, she found Li Tsongwen's seat and sat opposite him. Muchichi had always been cold. In school she had no friends and was used to doing things her own way. She felt that Lu Qianxian and the others were enough. If she had too many friends, it would delay the sweet time she had with Xingxiao. Therefore, in the past 2 years she had almost no interaction with her classmates. However, those who were close to her felt that she was difficult to get along with. Muchichi did not use her power to bully others and she was not arrogant or mean. She just did not like to communicate with others. In her eyes there was only Xingxiao and professional courses. But this time she actually went to look for Stallion? This made people suspect that she wanted to have an affair. However, was it possible to have an affair so blatantly now? Muchichi didn't care about other people's comments. She had always been magnanimous, but Jiang Xingnan didn't want to be talked about, so she walked over and reminded her, "You're a married woman now. Don't mess around. You're thinking too much. I just have some questions that I want to ask the Stallion." Muchichi answered her and gestured for her to return to her seat. Seeing this, Li Kongwen wanted to leave, but Muchichi grabbed his wrist. "Why do you say that Baisini's case can't be solved? Are you in such a hurry to die?" The other party was a little anxious inside. There are some things that have to be done. Fear and avoidance are useless. Just tell me. Li Kongwen let out a long sigh and finally returned to his seat. "Because I tried." "Tried what?" "Find the murderer." Li Kongwen answered seriously, "I tried a year ago, but I caused my father to become disabled and my mother to lose an arm." Muchichi suddenly thought of old Ching who had been injured. The other party had also used this method to stop them from continuing the investigation. "Are you related to the previous case?" Muchichi immediately thought of the 3 previous victims of Chongrong. "The last person who committed suicide was the product manager of Chongrong, my sister." Li Kongwen replied, "She left a suicide note and abandoned our family. She took medicine and committed suicide." At that time, our family had clearly agreed to travel abroad and even booked the plane tickets, but she left. After she died, our family didn't believe that she committed suicide, so I went crazy and searched everywhere for evidence. Did you find it? I found a business card of a hotel in J City that she had been to. I immediately went over to ask, but the other party said that they didn't know anything. They also said that it had been too long and the surveillance cameras had been cleared. I wanted to continue investigating, but it was at this time that my parents got into a car accident. I knew that this was a warning from the murderer. For the sake of my parents' safety, I could only give up. Do you still remember the name of that hotel? Wuxia asked. You guys should have been to J City, right? Yes, and then a senior brother was injured, so we returned empty-handed. Wuxia recalled that at that time J City, especially Mama Bai, was hiding many secrets. However, there was no way to dig deeper because everyone knew that if they took a step forward and crossed the line, it would be fate. I'll know once Bai Sini's case is closed. Li Kongwen smiled bitterly. I don't know who can uncover this case. At least let me know who my enemy is. Have you told anyone else? Li Kongwen shook his head. Who? Since you told me, does it mean that you still hope that the police can make a breakthrough? Li Kongwen did not say anything. Perhaps it was because he heard Wuxia say that Bai Sini's case was still on her mind, so he felt that someone could finally understand the pain in his heart. Tell me the name of the hotel. Perhaps we'll have to find the other two victims to find out more information. I also believe that no matter how meticulously planned a crime is, the truth will come to light one day. Li Kongwen pondered for a moment. Finally, he took out a pen and paper from his school bag and told Wuxia the name of the hotel. There's one more thing. I don't know if it's a clue or if it'll be helpful to you. Because it was connected to my parents' incident, I think this person can't escape being involved. What else do you know? Wuxia was a little surprised. There were actually so many heavy things hidden in this person. When my parents got into a car accident, the court sentenced the driver who caused the accident to only bear 15% of the responsibility. It was clearly intentional homicide, but in the end, under the lawyer's clever argument, he was actually acquitted. I'll never forget that scene and that young genius lawyer for the rest of my life. After saying that, Li Kongwen wrote another name on the paper. Xin Yu. How do you know that this lawyer is related to your sister's case? It's very simple. The driver who caused the accident had no money, so it was impossible for him to hire such a lawyer. The only explanation is that the murderer's people are responsible for the aftermath. Chapter 784. After saying that, Li Kongwen was about to leave, but Wuxia suddenly remembered something and pulled Li Kongwen back. Is your mother's surname Yao? How did you know? Why did she know? Because she had seen Lawyer Shin's so-called glorious resume last night, so when Li Kongwen mentioned this matter just now, she felt that it was very familiar. Coupled with the name Xinyu, it was definitely him. If what Li Kongwen said was the truth, then this Xinyu might be on the murderer's side. Now that Xiao had invited him to defend Xing Bowen, could it be the other party's scheme? Thinking of this possibility, Wuxia suddenly felt terrified and her hair stood on end. Although Xing Kai had many thoughts in the past, he had never succeeded. Suddenly, there was someone with such terrifying thoughts online. Wuxia felt a chill run down her spine. Seems like you need time to sort things out. Li Kongwen saw that Wuxia did not speak and her expression was so complicated, so he knew that she needed time to digest it. Thank you, Wheat. Wuxia nodded. Li Kongwen did not say anything else. He took his plate and moved to another place, leaving Wuxia alone. She was still sitting in her seat in a daze. She was trying to figure out what Li Kongwen had just said. Then she took out her phone hid in her room and called Xianxia. Xiao, I just found out something. It might be a little complicated. Do you have time to listen to me now? I'll go over tonight. Tell me in person. After saying this, Xianxia hung up the phone and said to the business partners on both sides of the conference table, I have to answer my wife's call. I'm sorry, let's continue. Wuxia put down her phone, her emotions extremely complicated. What kind of scheme was this? Why did so many people get involved? Why did so many murders happen? More importantly, Huang Yao seemed to be slowly being pulled into the scheme. A moment later, Jiang Xingnan returned to her room and sat on the single bed. She said to Mu Qiqi, "The gossip about you and Weed has already spread like wildfire in the faculty. Is there a need to say a few words?" "What do you mean by a few words?" "You held Weed's hand twice in total, and the two of you had complicated expressions on your face. Doesn't that seem like there's something going on?" Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes and sat on the bed. She pointed at her face and said, "In my eyes, other than the one in my family, there's no man. So what are you guys doing this for?" "For an old case." Mu Qiqi sighed. He was a pitiful person. "It's all your fault. Normally, you don't interact with others, so once you show special attention to someone, a bunch of people will say that you have a special relationship." Mu Qiqi could not bear to listen to the rest of the conversation. A moment later she suddenly reacted. "A certain someone said that he would come over tonight?" "Come where?" "To the resort. Everyone in the faculty is playing volleyball at the beach. Are you coming?" "Yeah." Mu Qiqi nodded. Since she was already here, she didn't plan to be reserved anymore. Wasn't she here for the sake of their classmate relationship? So Mu Qiqi changed into sportswear and went to the beach with Xingnan. However, Li Tsongwen's words lingered in her mind. When they reached the beach, Mu Qiqi lay comfortably on the beach and basked in the sun. However, a volleyball hit her and disrupted her thoughts. "Are you guys playing or beating people up?" With Jiang Xingnan's temper, she couldn't help but shout. "She's the one who wants to lie there. How can she blame others?" The man replied confidently. Only then did Mu Qiqi realize that the ball was aimed at her. So she picked up the ball and walked to Jiang Xingnan's side. "I'll team up with you. I'll play too." "Are you sure?" Jiang Xingnan was a little doubtful. Could Mu Qiqi play with her small body? Although she was already taller. "Trust me." The girl opposite the volleyball net was wearing a bikini in spring. Wasn't she afraid of catching a cold? It was obvious that she had done this for a purpose. She wanted to attract the man's attention. "If you like Li Kongwen, go ahead and confess. It's useless to hit me." After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, the girl immediately blushed. "What nonsense are you talking about? I didn't do it on purpose just now." "You didn't do it on purpose, did you?" Mu Qiqi glanced at Jiang Xingnan. "Come on, I'll show you what it means to really not do it on purpose." The 6 girls on one side were simply assigned positions. Mu Qiqi wanted the free position and was responsible for receiving the serve and spiking the ball. As long as she got the chance, she would directly spike the ball at the girl in the bikini. "Mu Qiqi, did you do it on purpose?" After a few exchanges, the other party got angry. "I was lying so far away just now." "You didn't do it on purpose." "How could I do it on purpose?" Mu Qiqi asked the other party in return. "Is it because I've maintained a good temper for a long time that you think I'm easy to bully?" The other party didn't say anything because only she knew how strong Mu Qiqi was. What a joke. Mu Qiqi hadn't practiced boxing for nothing during this period of time. "You only dare to be so unscrupulous because you have Xing Zhao's support. Mu Qiqi, you're too arrogant. You're the one who wanted to bully me. When you realized that you couldn't bully me, you immediately replaced yourself as the weaker party. How did I bully you because of Xing Zhao? Weren't you the first one to hit me with the ball?" Mu Qiqi asked the other party in return. "Or am I being bullied and can't resist? You're a woman who can fool around when your man isn't by your side." Mu Qiqi's gaze immediately darkened. However, she was stopped by Jiang Xingnan. "Give the dean some face. Don't blow things up. Then why are you dressed like this?" Mu Qiqi pushed Jiang Xingnan away and asked her directly. I don't know about others, but you and I know very well that Li Kongwen doesn't like you." After saying that, Mu Qiqi threw the volleyball to the side. She wanted to get along well with these girls, but the result didn't seem to be what she wanted. As expected, you can't judge a person by their appearance. Your temper really doesn't match your appearance. Jiang Xingnan followed behind Mu Qiqi and said, "In my memory, you only quarreled with your classmates in the faculty. Of course, you don't have to take it to heart. If you're too outstanding, you'll be envied wherever you go. If it weren't for the boredom of the spring outing, I wouldn't be angry over such a small matter." Mu Qiqi felt a little innocent. Moreover, she had only said a few words to Li Kongwen, and these people had imagined an entire TV series. However, did the people in the faculty really spread the news about me and Li Kongwen so badly? You heard it just now. Jiang Xingnan shrugged. Forget it. Whatever. I don't know how these people got into Xingting University. Their minds are full of nonsense all day long. What were these women thinking when they came to the forensic science faculty to waste their time? Chapter 785. This time Xianxia was not only there for Mu Qiqi, but also because Zhongting had bought a piece of land by the sea and was developing it. Of course, a group of employees from the engineering department accompanied him. Most of the resorts near the sea were concentrated here, so Xianxia asked his secretary to book the luxurious seaview room next to Mu Qiqi's. After dinner, the secretary sent the room number to Mu Qiqi's phone. After Mu Qiqi saw it, she was too embarrassed to say that she was going out to stay, so she planned to wait for everyone to fall asleep before sneaking to the hotel next door. However, the students of the faculty were still barbecuing in the garden of the resort late at night. Mu Qiqi waited for a long time, but she still could not go out. When Jiang Xingnan woke up, she saw that Mu Qiqi had not washed up yet, so she propped herself up and asked, "Qiqi, why aren't you sleeping yet?" "I'm still thinking about something." "You sleep first, go to sleep." Jiang Xingnan was still sleepy, so she fell back asleep. Under the yellow light, the entire room was very quiet. Outside the wide floor-to-ceiling windows was the endless sea and rugged viewing stones. Mu Qiqi finally avoided everyone and came to Xingzhao's side. As soon as she sat down, she said angrily, "You make it seem like I'm having an affair with someone. Aren't you here to have an affair? One during the day and one at night." Xingzhao raised his eyelids and said to her. Mu Qiqi immediately understood that he knew about the rumors about her and Li Kongwen, so she leaned against Xingzhao in a fawning manner. "You believe those rumors? Did you grab his hand?" "I grabbed his sleeve, okay?" Mu Qiqi retreated a little and defended herself. "Other than you, I don't treat any other man as a man." Xingzhao's expression was unclear. He unbuttoned his shirt and looked at the thing. "Don't you have something serious to say? Let's see what you can find out from your vacation." Li Tsongwen's sister is the previous victim of the Chongrong electronic suicide case. He was stopped and warned by the other party because he wanted to investigate the case. "I know," Xingzhao said calmly. "You know. Don't forget, I've read all of Xinyu's information. You're smart, but you're only careful in certain areas." Xingzhao took off his suit jacket and leaned against the sofa as he explained, "I've seen dozens of cases that Xinyu has handled. Among them, I asked Su Che to look for information on the Li family's case and read the whole story." "Then do you know everything? Including the fact that this Xinyu is a dangerous person?" Mu Qiqi asked him in return. "Then you told me not to worry before." "I didn't want you to know because I didn't want you to be suspicious. It was not that Xinyu was not careful enough, but that he had underestimated his enemy. He thought that with so many cases, big and small, we wouldn't notice a victim like the Li family." Unfortunately, Xingzhao was surrounded by Mu Qiqi and Tang Yan. As for the Chongrong electronics case, he had already read the information of several victims. Naturally, he could separate this case from them. Mu Qiqi thought about it and felt that it was in line with Xingzhao's style of doing things. He was a man who always did things in a watertight manner. "Since that's the case, you still asked him to defend third brother. You've sent away Xinyu and you don't know who else will come. So instead of doing that, you might as well keep it under your nose. Perhaps you can follow the clues and find out the relationship between Xinyu and the other party. If you're lucky, you can even find out the other party's identity." That made sense. "In that case, I'll continue to pretend that I don't know and let Xinyu continue acting. Then you also have a backup plan for third brother, right? You said that you trust the Xing family's lawyer, so I asked him to make another set of preparations. So you're going to keep Xinyu until the court hearing? That's exciting." Since the matter had been clarified, Mu Qiqi was relieved. She had originally wanted to tell this man about it as soon as possible, but she did not expect him to know about it from the beginning to the end. Thinking of this, Mu Qiqi complained, "You've been hiding a lot of things from me recently. If you want the Xing family to be safe, you have to drag Xing Kai out of the quagmire. Otherwise, sooner or later he will become someone else's scapegoat and drag the entire Xing family down with him." "Forget it, I can't be bothered to argue with you. A man's heart is like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. After saying that, Mu Chichi got up from the sofa. I'm going to take a shower. I'll serve you well later. Actually, Mu Chichi did not know that Jiang Xingnan had a habit of waking up at night. When she woke up and did not see Mu Chichi, she was shocked and quickly went out to look for her. However, there were still people barbecuing downstairs and Mu Chichi was nowhere to be seen. Could it be that she really had an affair with Li Kongwen as the girl had said during the day? The next day before dawn, Mu Chichi returned from outside and lay on the bed to continue sleeping. If she had known that it would be so hard, she would not have gone to sleep with that man. At around 8 in the morning, Jiang Xingnan woke up early and saw Mu Chichi lying on the bed. He was puzzled. Where did this person come from? However, Mu Chichi was not awake, so it was not appropriate for her to ask. After breakfast, the group of people were going to the stray cat and dog rescue station not far from the resort to volunteer. Fortunately, Mu Chichi also liked animals, so she had no objections to the activity. However, on the way to the volunteer center, many people were whispering and discussing in private. However, after experiencing Mu Chichi's tit-for-tat yesterday, no one dared to mention it to her. However, on Li Tsongwen's side, a classmate started joking. Last night you and Mu Chichi secretly met, right? What did you say? You even dared to snatch Xing Zhao's woman. You're really something. Li Kongwen frowned and did not understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. I didn't leave my room last night. You still don't admit it. Someone saw Mu Chichi sneaking out of her room last night. She clearly went out on a date. Who else could it be if not you? How would I know who she went to see? You really can't explain yourself. Li Kongwen was angry because he knew that he was innocent. These people were too good at making connections and gossiping. They could even link such a thing together. Mu Chichi slept soundly and ignored the gossip. However, poor Jiang Xingnan was struggling in her heart. That was because many people had already come to ask her in the morning if she knew about Mu Chichi secretly dating Li Kongwen last night. How would she know? Moreover, Mu Chichi was indeed not in her room. She wanted to protect Mu Chichi, but she felt that Mu Chichi had done something she should not have done. She was struggling in her heart. Soon the group arrived at the stray cat and dog rescue station. Not to mention girls, even boys felt that these dirty animals were covered in viruses and bacteria and did not dare to approach them. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.